What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
7 Ob. Chapter 106. Night Lord Beast. You are really angry. Night Lord Beast. Stubborn Beast. These are the most special and unusual two Digimons among all the Royal Knights. One looks like a muscular brother, even. Every word and deed looks like a muscular brother, and the other is elegant in every move. But in fact, that kind of feeling. Anyway, Locke thinks it is a feeling of Saugas, feeling like the young lady in the red light district of Happy Island. Every move makes people feel very strange, that's it, but it's not that advanced. The young lady in the red light district has to be that kind of low level. Locke quickly shook his head, throwing out his messy thoughts, and at this moment, with the Night Beast making a move, the battle had already begun. I feel that the opponent's strength looks pretty good. Two powerhouses at the Vice Admiral level. But it's probably like this, but to be honest, brother, I still can't understand it. It's just like this. If he has no strength, he will launch an attack on our Whitebeard pirates. Do not know. I don't understand. Not understand. Newgate also shook his head silently. No way. I can't accept it. It feels too strange, too weird, and it really makes people feel unacceptable. There are all kinds of birds, and I don't understand at all. What is the other party's thinking, if you say that this brain is a normal person, anyway? Locke thinks it is a bit unacceptable. It's obvious that there is something wrong with the brain. After all, but if there is no problem with the head, or if the head is not covered, it is really impossible to do such a thing. This kind of thing is really very strange. Anyway, it's still the same sentence. The two brothers couldn't understand what this brain circuit was thinking. But this moment, Frenzy Great Sword, 880. The Night Beast jumped up, and the power that seemed to smash Washin fell down instantly. In an instant, the terrifying power seemed to be the same power that wanted to cut everything directly, and the next moment, the Night Beast was the Knight's Epee in his hand flicked slightly, and Setsuna, a Vice Admiral level powerhouse, was divided into two. A short fight. It is not an opponent at all. The experience value of the Night Beast has reached 99%, which also means that the strength of the Night Beast has reached the peak of the Quasi-Admiral, which is close to the Admiral level, and another point is that the sword of the Night Beast is terrifying, and under such a terrifying swordsmanship, then I am afraid that as long as you are not an idiot, you are very clear about how amazing the strength of the Night Beast is. This is the power of the Night Beast, and after one of them was dealt with, the Night Beast felt as if its own power began to churn, but the next moment, the Night Beast went straight to another opponent again. Not even close. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit. As long as you have a little bit of strength, you can really go one step further. At that time, your strength can usher in a terrifying improvement, and the Night Beast has already gone straight to the remaining Vice Admiral. The strong will go away, and as the battle continues, the result is beyond doubt. Not an opponent at all. After all, the strength gap between the two sides cannot be described in words at all. It is a real strength gap visible to the naked eye. Under the fierce attack of the Night Beast, the opponent has already been in an extremely huge gap in a short period of time. The two sides are not at all one level. Naturally, there is no comparison. Snapped. With the swift swing of the huge Night Sword in his hand, the next result is actually self-evident, completely. It is not an opponent of the same level, or even. Not to mention the simple difference in strength, from the point of view of Kendo, or the aspect of two-color hockey, and the Night Beast is completely crushing the general victory, and the two sides are not at the same level. Completely. There is no comparison at all, after all. No kidding, under such a huge gap, if the other party can still resist, that would be the strangest thing. Brush. A sword fell, splitting the opponent in half like a force on Washin Mountain, and with the falling of this terrifying force, everything between Setsuna became different. A beam of light soaring into the sky burst out instantly, between Setsuna. The infinite power seemed to swallow everything up, and the aura of the Night Beast became more terrifying. Night Beast. The experience value is finally full, and when it is full, it can naturally evolve. The ray of evolution has dissipated, and she is covered in magenta armor. She has a slender figure. Compared with the Night Beast, it is as if she has successfully slimmed down. The right hand has a weapon similar to a shotgun, which is similar to a shield but it's different, while the left hand is holding a red rose, with golden lines wrapped around its body. It gives people a completely different feeling. Ultimate body. Night Lord Beast. As one of the Royal Knights, the Lord Night Beast also has the amazing power of the Royal Knights, even if the current Lord Night Beast does not have the soul of the Knight, but if you dare to underestimate the Lord Night Beast, then you still have to pay a huge price. The price of the Night Lord Beast is very strong, very strong. This is definitely not a joke, but it is really very terrifying. Under the huge power, the owner of the Night Lord Beast has amazing experience. Fight Tyrannosaurus. Steel Geruruman. Compared with their strength, the Lord Night Beast is stronger. Besides that, as long as the Lord Night Beast absorbs the soul of the Knight, then it can immediately transform into a further legendary strength. Megamon's bug level power. But, if you want to convert it, 8 admirals are equal to 1 bug, and 2 legends are equal to 1 bug. That is to say, the owner of a Night Lord can match the combat power of 4 admirals, of course. This is just a conversion method. As for the real result, this is something that cannot be determined. This is a problem that no one can determine. This is the fundamental core. Abel, Beasta, Whitey Bay and other little guys also came out. They planned to deal with the other people on board, but at this moment, watching the evolution of the Night Lord Beast, there is a very strange feeling. The feeling, how should I put it? It feels very different, or rather, very strange. I always feel that there seems to be a strange feeling. As if, that's right. The other party feels very strange, different from the thick, mature, and stable feeling of the Night Beast. The current Night Lord Beast seems to be more $ow. It gives people a strange feeling. Everyone couldn't help shaking their heads. No, there is always a strange feeling, and looking at the evolved Night Lord Beast, I don't know what to say. Just wait quietly, and the Night Lord Beast also gracefully waved the red rose in his hand, and said lightly, really? An opponent like you needs an elegant me to make a move. It's just not worth mentioning. Too boring. The Lord Night Beast seems to be very boring. It calmly grabbed the prince who was already at a loss because of the situation of being completely hanged, and took him away directly, and listening to the Lord Night Beast's voice, the other people are silent, you look at me, I look at you. They all fell into silence. Never mind. Just pretend you don't know anything, just pretend you haven't heard anything, that's right. That's right. It's definitely a good feeling. If there is no problem, then there is definitely no need to think about other things, just These little guys still have a strange feeling more or less, it is really a strange feeling. Anyway, everyone feels that they will not be able to look directly at the Night Lord Beast in the future. Always feel weird. The other side. After the evolution of the Night Lord Beast, it returned to the Sphinx, and a white cloak appeared on its body. This is the standard configuration of the Royal Knights. Royal Knights always have such a white cloak, and if he threw off his white cloak, it also means that the Royal Knights have really started to get serious. As long as they don't shake off their cloaks, it means their strength, and they haven't really shown it. Lord Locke, Lord Newgate, the Night Lord Beast respectfully knelt down on one knee, and said respectfully, I have already brought back the person you need. Locke looked at this guy, rubbed his chin calmly and said, tell me. I'm just curious about the origin of you guy. It seems that Lousy didn't provoke you. You have to what do you mean by asking for trouble? To be frank, Locke just thinks it's outrageous. No matter what you think, how do you make Locke think, anyway? Locke just thinks it's outrageous, and I feel weird too, this is not a joke. It's a real weird feeling, what is this guy doing? What is his brain circuit like? But as long as he is a normal person, shouldn't he feel very strange about this situation? No kidding. It really feels very outrageous. Quote. Oh. And the prince was already trembling with fright at this moment, he didn't even know what to say. Locke looked at this scene, just waved his hands and said, Fosa. You guys stay here, let Belle come back and take care of him. Let's deal with it. Just in time, since this guy doesn't want to say anything, let Belle relax. Uncle, do not worry. No problem. Don't look at Fosa's young age, in fact. Fosa looks as tall as an iron tower, and it's really easy to lift this weak prince, it's completely simple one horse. What? The prince also let out a miserable scream, and shouted sadly, Don't, please, let me go, help. With this miserable scream, the prince has already been taken away, This prince will be very miserable in the future, it is worth mentioning. Belle does not know if it is because he has always been in prison since he was a child the problem in the boat, so to speak. Although Belle seems to have changed a lot compared to the Beast's pirates in the original book. In fact, Belle's character has not changed at all, that is, he likes to torture people very much. This point, as long as you are not an idiot, you can see it very clearly. 0. Next, this prince may be very miserable, after all. Belle will not show mercy. Night Lord Beast, you should go and rest too. Yes, Lord Locke. The Night Lord Beast knelt down on one knee again, and then left respectfully, and Locke looked at the Night Lord Beast leaving, to be honest. It also fell into a slight silence, although. However, at the very beginning, I had already guessed that the Night Lord Beast would look like this after it evolved, but I never thought that when I saw it in person. It still feels like a weird feeling. Locke shook his head silently, it was really a strange feeling. Newgate said curiously, Locke, Lousy always feels like. Okay. Do not say. Locke directly stopped his elder brother's words. Others don't know what his elder brother wants to say, don't you think you don't know? Just kidding. Of course I know. It's just, even if you know it, so it's better not to say anything. This is the Night Lord Beast, and this is also one of his own warriors. If there is more to say about this, it is really not good. Okay. Newgate is also smacking his lips on this, to be honest. I really want to complain a little bit, but After thinking about it, I silently gave up, it seems. It's not necessary to have a little bit, after all. It's not a strange thing to have different personalities, and the character of the Night Lord Beast should also be. Locke shook his head, but quietly looked into the distance, sure enough. No matter what time it is, the Night Lord Beast gives people a feeling of shame, anyway. For this situation, Locke doesn't know what to say. This is the character of the Night Lord Beast. So, the evolution of the Digimon is really different. After the evolution, the character of the Digimon will always happen. Earth-shaking changes. Thinking about it a little bit, it seems to be a matter of course. Okay. Locke stood up and said, "Brother, I'm going back first, although it is more or less incomprehensible, but just wait until the follow-up to watch, no one knows the specific situation." What's the matter at the end of 4.9? Quote. Listening to what Locke said, Newgate also nodded, saying that there is no problem, anyway. It is not a big problem, since Locke is going to leave, then there is no problem. That's it, with Locke gone, and the rest of the matter is waiting for Belle to deal with it. Back to the villa, Locke looked at all the little maids alive and well, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, no matter what he said. The little maid in his own family is still alive, this is already. It's a very good thing. After all, it doesn't matter how you say it, it also represents that these little maids in my family are very well behaved one by one, otherwise. I guess now. At the very least, a few people have to die, which is not a strange thing. I am very clear that there are Omega Beasts here, if these little guys make any moves, then in essence, they will definitely die. And now, since they are still alive, then, it has been able to prove that these little guys in my family have not done anything bad, and this is already the best thing. In love, a smile flickered on the corner of Locke's mouth, and then he said calmly, "Go and prepare dinner." Yes, listening to Locke's order, the little maid continued to act, very quickly. Even though the delicate food has been prepared again, the speed is still very fast, after all. No matter how you say it, the skills of these little maids are beyond doubt. And as Locke started to eat, the little guy Belle also came back, and the next step is to start his own work properly. Regarding this matter, Belle still. I like it very much. After all, no matter how you say it, this is also one of my hobbies. Chapter 107. Destruction of the country in 3 hours. MMP. Dare to trouble Lousy. Advertise here. What? Don't want. Accompanied by the ear-piercing screams, outside the prison, every little guy couldn't help shaking his head, alas. I really don't know what to say, my big brother looks like this, it's true that everyone is used to it. I'm used to it, I'm really used to it, after all. They all know about the tormenting personality of their Belle big brother, but they didn't expect it. It turned out to be like this. Snapped. And as time went by, the screams became lower and lower, and Belle gradually came out with the sound of footsteps. While wiping the blood on his hands, he looked at the people present, without any embarrassed, but calmly said, "What are you looking at?" Nothing. Yes, we're just looking around. That's right. All the little guys shook their heads hastily, and Belle was beside Lilith, and said softly, Belle big brother, are you pervert? Belle doesn't care what other people's friends think, anyway. I'm used to it, it's just. Seeing Belle's sudden words, Belle is silent for an instant, at this moment. There is a feeling of not knowing what to say, I always feel. It seems strange, I really don't know what to say, I don't know how to say it at all. Ha ha ha. After a brief silence, everyone couldn't help laughing, and everyone shook their heads with a smile. Forget it. It's really meaningless if you don't think about it so much. Soon, everyone left with their shoulders together. As for the identity of this prince, feel sorry. It doesn't matter anymore, anyway. When he attacked the Whitebeard pirates, then, everything is doomed, and nothing else will happen, because such a result is already in front of us, if an accident, that is the strangest thing. And the next little ones, one by one, what to do, what to rest, what to eat, what to exercise. Why don't you know the question? What? My uncle is sleeping. So, this matter can be discussed later in 07, but those who learn kendo, such as Beasta, Fosa, Skuyid, etc., are still taught by Knights the Lord Beast, after all. The Night Lord Beast is an evolutionary form of the Night Beast, and it is no exaggeration to say that its mastery of the sword has reached a level of perfection. Just how to say something. I always feel weird. That's right, the character of the Night Lord Beast really gives people a weird feeling. I really don't know what to say, I always feel that I don't know how to say it, it's really very strange. But, think about it for a while, a lot of things don't matter, everyone's personality is different, Belle still likes to torture people pervert. But it's good for my brothers and sisters. So, people, and although people's personalities are different, it doesn't matter. Night fell. Locke also woke up, and after eating dinner very casually, he calmly prepared to deal with the situation, and soon he came to the meeting room, and Locke brought the Night Lord Beast, nothing else. Although he said, Omega Beast is really handsome, but If you want to take it out, the Night Lord Beast is definitely more interesting, implying that it is really the best choice. That temperament, that kind of foil, except I don't know what to say, it's just perfect anyway. Snapped. Locke walked into the conference room step by step, sat down, and asked casually, Bell, do you know what's going on? Uncle, I know the identity of the other party. His name is Al. He comes from the British Empire of Ireland. New World is an empire that has been at war all year round. However, during the wars of the past few years, the British Empire of Ireland has made a lot of war fortune, so the strength has been greatly improved. The other party has already paid the heavenly gold, and next year it will completely become a franchise country, and this Al is the prince of the British Empire. He came to Happy Island to participate in the auction of. If there are no accidents, it is probably because the British Empire is about to join the world government and become a member country, so it is eligible to participate in this auction. According to my information, the other party came here for the Phoenix Fruit. I originally planned to train an admiral-level powerhouse, but it turned out. Locke was silent, and understood what it meant. Good guy. I am a really good guy. To be honest, I just don't know how to complain. This boy's head can't be real. Is there a problem? Even if the devil fruit has already fallen into the hands of the Whitebeard pirates, even if you use other means, such as buying, then everything is easy to talk about. In the end, you actually chose a strong gun. You were really good. So, sometimes, your thoughts are really scary. This is something that no normal person can do, and it turns out. This guy has really made it. Locke said that he really didn't know what to say. After all, anyone who is not an idiot can see this. This is obviously a problem with the real head. Or to say, this is because of the status of his family higher, so the whole person swells up. Anyway, regarding this point, Locke didn't know what to say, and always felt that it was very weird and embarrassing. Forget it. For these, it is better not to say anything, because it is meaningless at all things like this. But as long as there is no problem with the head, it is impossible to do such a thing, no. These are not things that a person with a brain problem can do, this is something that a person whose brain does not exist can do. But as long as the brain exists, it is impossible to do such an idiot. Anyway, Locke didn't know what to say, so he waved his hands and said, Forget it. This matter. That's it, brother, just drive the Sphinx over, and drive the British Empire directly destruction. La. No problem at all. If you dare to attack our Edward family, then let the other party know how terrifying our power is. Boys, get ready for war. Roar. What responded to Newgate was deafening roars. In the beginning, all the little guys were very dazed. Isn't that right? This is not the character of my uncle. According to the character of my uncle, okay guy. How dare you provoke me? If Lousy doesn't take your head off, it's because your head is stronger. As a result, it's just as it should be. Such a thing happened, and you did such a thing. Attack. Oh who. The little ones immediately went to prepare, and Newgate also grinned, and said ferociously, Lousy really didn't expect that someone would dare to provoke Lousy. This makes people think it is really very interesting. Quote. There was a terrifying murderous intent in his eyes. For Newgate, Lousy had no intention of being merciful when he attacked for so many years. The result is so good, someone dares to trouble Lousy. Good. That's just right, let Lousy take a look at what your strength is. Locke said calmly. Okay. Brother, it's not a big deal anyway, these guys. Obviously there is something wrong with their heads, if you are really angry with them. That is really something that can't be done. Quote. Indeed. Newgate also nodded calmly. This matter is settled like this, after all. It must be to find a way back, otherwise. Lousy is holding his breath. Clatter. After determining the target, the Sphinx went straight to the British Empire of Ireland, but at this moment, the British Empire of Ireland fell into a kind of silence. How should I put it? They never thinking. I finally made a fortune, paid the heavenly gold, joined the world government, and became a franchise country. Originally, this is the beginning of a good day. Buy a Phantom Beast Devil Fruit, and then cultivate an Admiral level strong ore. The British Empire of Ireland is also growing step by step. The results of it. His own son actually did such a cerebral palsy thing. Elo looked at the information in his hands, and at what his son was doing, fell into silence for a while, even with disbelief look. I can't understand. How did this happen? It should be said. Is this really what people should do? It's completely unacceptable. It's even impossible to understand. What is the reason for such behavior? Anyway, this is the fact. This is the situation in front of you, whether you admit it or not. Elo knows, now. If you are ready to die, it is over, otherwise. Could the British Empire be the Whitebeard pirates the opponent? Stop making trouble. The two sides are not opponents of the same level at all, even to say. It is the most appropriate thing to describe it as outrageous. No joke, but as long as there is no brain problem, it is impossible to think that you will win what? After all, fundamentally speaking, the two sides are not rivals at the same level. In the true sense, there is no comparison at all. Under such circumstances, you plan to defeat the Whitebeard pirates. Stop making trouble. That is fundamental impossible. Can only be said. This is pure joke. Boom. Boom. But at this moment, the roar of artillery fire began to resound instantly. Hearing this sound, Elliot's expression became ugly instantly. He stood up and hurried out of the palace. The war had already begun. The other party had arrived, sure enough. Just looking at it, I have already seen the figure in the distance accompanied by the roar of the artillery fire. And just looking at the huge griffin-like figure, he murmured, "Come. Come. It's all over. Kill. Oh who. Attack." Under the leadership of Newgate, all the little guys joined the battlefield crazily, as if they were crazy, and their eyes were full of excitement, which is not surprising. After all, they are also pirates, and being a pirate owner with such a crazy side is not a strange thing. Besides, as a pirate, isn't it a matter of course to attack a country? Kill. F***K me. Squid turned into a human beast form, with a spider on his lower body and a human on his upper body. 8 arms have appeared on his entire body, and with the complete explosion of these terrifying arms, that terrifying power is representative. How amazing is Squid's strength. 8 swords flow. This is the ability of Squid Devil Fruit, no kidding. Squid is a spider fruit capable user, and although he is also good at swordsmanship, after careful thinking, Squid has researched the most suitable one for him. It can be said that the 8-sword style is the 8-sword style, so to speak. The power of the 8-sword style, combined with his own devil fruit, is the most suitable power for him. Knife flow. Brush. Brush. Squid's speed is extremely fast, and soldiers have been dealt with in the shortest time, and the corner of Squid's mouth evoked a smile, looking around, follow me. Once again the attack was launched. Brush. Taking one step forward, Squid went straight to his 300 opponents. The speed was really too fast, and on the other side, Phos's body was churning with scorching heat waves, especially the long knife in his hand. And even the boiling heat wave that started to burn. Just from here it can be seen that Phos's strength is not weak at all. This battle is a performance show for each little guy, so it is not an exaggeration, after all. The overall strength of this strong Irishman is also very good, but no matter what, whether it's good or what, the overall strength is just that. If Newgate, Night Lord Beast, or even Omega Beast really make a move, then in essence, they are no longer opponents at the same level. Because of this, the core of this battle lies in, let these little fellows cultivate. After all, these little guys are the future of the family, the future of the core of the real family. It would be too strange if they were not properly cultivated. Rumble, rumble. Following the deafening roar, Ah Bell rushed into the battlefield holding Fengwole, looked around, narrowed his eyes slightly, and then went straight to a strong man, but for these little guys, it is enough for them to face opponents with good strength, and more to defeat them. After all, Heelin beasts can still pick up leaks, and eat experience points, which is also a very important thing. As time goes by, this war is actually doomed. Elo silently looked at the battlefield below, then sat down calmly cross-legged. His expression was very calm, and he just whispered softly, "Really? Everything is over." Obviously, it took a lot of time. After so many years of hard work, everything is just the beginning, but is this the end? Silently sighed, Elo didn't know what to say, for his son who seemed to be thinking about some messy things all the time. I seem to believe too much, and it is precisely because my son brought such a devastating blow to the entire country. If I were a little more cautious in everything, instead of being so inflated and confident as I have become a franchise country, maybe, everything will change drastically, right? Think about it for a while. And Elliot Moe did not continue to say something, because he knew that the past is already in the past, so continuing to discuss any matter itself is meaningless. Thousands of words, turned into a sigh, and this is enough. As for everything else, it is a meaningless thing in itself. Saying something, it's all unimportant things is black. Chapter 108. Sphinx Fruit. Childhood, Josie, Saki, subdue them. Boom, boom, rumble, crackling. Listening to the roar in the ear, as the king of the British Empire, the man named Elot is quietly waiting for the arrival of the other party. No matter what the result is, this is it. Snapped. As predicted, soon after the sound of footsteps came, Ah Bell, holding a sharp blade in the form of a human and beast, had already stepped up to the high ground where the palace is located. He looked around and said calmly, "Other don't say. The palace here looks good, and for you have also chosen a very suitable place to die." He. Looking at this man, Elo shook his head silently, and said with emotion, "It's not Whitebeard or Locke, sure enough. I'm not even qualified to meet Brother Edward." Thousands of words turned into a sigh, and Elliot closed his eyes silently, very calm. He knew that the result was like this, and that's it. He didn't plan to say anything, nor did he plan to do something just end like this. This is the best result. Brush. With the sword in his hand, Bell did not continue to torture the king. He maintained the posture of being a king, and the owner was a king, then. If this is the case, then let him die in the posture of a king. See, looking at the fallen Elo, while Ah Bell's mind flickered, the next moment, monstrous flames burst out instantly, directly devouring Elo, turned into fly ash, and just disappeared like this. Ah Bell turned around and left very calmly. Next, someone from the palace will come to search, and I have other things to do. Generally speaking, I need to deal with everything myself. Up. After all, in this war, Bell is in charge of everything. Bell will be responsible for handling all this. What do you think about other people? Sorry, Bell just doesn't care. Bell is very calm and very clear. How should I deal with all the things in front of me? Snapped. Snapped. With Bell's departure, this war is gradually coming to an end. It only lasts for 3 hours. And this is actually enough, at least. For the Whitebeard pirates, that's enough. That's the power of the Whitebeard pirates. Even if Newgate just made a simple move, Locke never made a move, Omega Beast, and Night Lord Beast never made a move, only Keelan Beast participated in the battle, but even so, 3 hours is enough. Just in 3 hours, the war has come to an end, and everything is already in front of us. It's over. Mistake. It's over so simply. It seems too simple, doesn't it? It can be said. For these, this is enough. It is so simple. This kind of war really does not require much effort. The reason is very simple. It is simply meaningless. It is too simple. Simple it seems to be too much to make people feel that it is meaningless. DJ. This is the strength of the Whitebeard pirates, which can be called invincible. This incomparable strength is to tell everyone how terrifying the Whitebeard pirates are. We'll kill them all. That's nonsense. Country. This is a population of millions, or even more. If you slaughtered so many people, that would be the strangest thing. Because this is almost impossible, in fact. As long as they dispose of the army, the royal family. Nobles. Dispose of these, then, it is equivalent to destroying the country, after all. For all the countries above the sea, are the people very important? Do not. The people are actually the least important, because as long as you have money, have power, have all these, so, want people, it's too easy. Look at Toto Land, even if you need to pay life as the price of living. But, this is not important. For those civilians, they really don't care. As long as they can live safely, that's fine, otherwise. For these countries, actually, everything it just makes no sense. Hurry up. Be careful. Coming. All the little guys are calling loudly, and everyone is moving fast. Everyone's speed is very fast. In a short period of time, it seems that everything has been dealt with almost, moved a large amount of gold and silver treasures, and various treasures to the ship, and they were all smiling. Of course, they were very happy and interested in this large amount of treasures. Seriously, is the Whitebeard pirates short of money? Not short of money. For a long time, no matter what time it is, the Whitebeard pirates have no shortage of money. What they like more is money and Bailey. It's not that these little guys are short of money. To be precise, for these little guys, they really don't lack money. Only, as a pirate, it is of course very happy to snatch the treasure. Gu la 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 tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. Cubs. Good job. Oh who. Daddy. The banquet plaza located inside the Sphinx, after putting all the treasures in the Golden City, one by one held banquets here. No matter how you say it, for these little guys, it was a joy. What? He. Ha ha ha. Hearing the shouts and happy voices in his ears, Locke also chuckled and shook his head. They really are a group of cute little guys. Just looking at a group of cute little guys. It's just a very comfortable feeling. Locke quietly looked at everything in front of him, and his heart was very peaceful, after all. No matter how you say it. At least, for me, this is my home. And since this is my home, then, everything is obviously very important to me. As for those gold and silver treasures, no kidding. For me, these are not really big problems, and I am not interested in these. Uncle. At this time, Whitey Bay came over and said softly, Uncle. Everything has been sorted out, and there are a total of nearly 1.5 billion Baileys. As for the specific number, it will take time to figure it out. Just make statistics, this matter is not particularly troublesome. However, this devil fruit, Uncle, you always think it is very strange. Locke also raised his head strangely, took the devil fruit in Whitey's hand, and after looking at it for a while, he also showed a look of astonishment, and said in surprise, Sphinx fruit. I didn't expect it. It turned out you can find this devil fruit here, Phantom Beast. However, if this is the case, it will be even more strange. Since there is Phantom Beast devil fruit inside, why go outside to buy it? Is this a very strange thing? Seriously, I am also very clear about the purpose of the British Empire to go to Happy Island to participate in the auction. To put it bluntly, it is to buy a high-level devil fruit and to cultivate an admiral-level powerhouse. I got the Phoenix fruit, and this devil fruit fell into my hands, and everyone knew about the rest. But Jay, the strangest thing Locke thinks is, since you already have a devil fruit of Phantom Beast in your hand, why do you have to buy another Phantom Beast devil fruit? This is the strangest thing. Is the XX fruit weak? Joke. Cat fruit Phantom Beast Sphinx form. That's right. The same devil fruit as Sphinx Island has the same name, and the power of this devil fruit is actually very easy to guess, and it is also a very powerful power, that is, the ability to manipulate yellow sand. That's right. Like Logia Devil Fruit, the ability to manipulate yellow sand, but. Worth to talk about. Regarding this point, you must understand that the Eudemon's Devil Fruit can manipulate the power of elements, but absolutely cannot produce elements out of thin air. And Logia Devil Fruit itself is a certain substance that has become Logia. For example, the Snow Fruit ability user Whitey Bay. Her ability is very simple, that is to turn herself into snow, and this thing seems to have no difference. In fact, it is not the case. The difference between this thing it is simply too big, and it is not an exaggeration to call it a big difference. What does this represent? If there is no yellow sand around, then Sphinx is a zone devil fruit. But this Phantom Beast Devil Fruit, for the Whitebeard pirates, at least for Locke, but since the meaning is different, playing with this devil fruit in his hand, Locke smiled and said, Whitebeard, this devil fruit I putting it away first, I have a perfect one for this devil fruit. Whitey asked strangely, Uncle, who is suitable for this devil fruit? Even though, in this big family, everyone is exactly the same, but many people are very clear, people with outstanding aptitude, they will always grow faster, after all. It is a matter of course that they are more outstanding, and apart from these children, the others are more ordinary people in a family, and they are people who have been raised. Put it another way, everyone in Celestial Dragons knows that many people are rubbish, but among Celestial Dragons, there are also elites, even. It is very normal to hold important positions in various positions in the world government, and they are high-ranking officials. The world government is too huge, and most of the time, the most trusted person is of course the Celestial Dragons. Among the Edward family, Aya Bell, Whitey Bay, Vista, Little Ozzy, Alice, Bell, Skuyard, Fosa, Jinbei, Namur, Karl Ma, Lakeo, these little ones including the guys, they are the most outstanding. Because of this, it is very important for the little guys to gather together. As for the two sisters Lilith and Tito, they are doctors, so to speak. The division of labor of the entire Whitebeard pirates is very clear, and the qualifications of everyone are also very clear. But the question is, who is this devil fruit suitable for? Locke smiled and said, Okay. All right, Whitey, little girl, don't think so much. Don't worry, you will soon know who is the most suitable person for this devil fruit. Not suitable to sue. Tell you. Okay. Whitey Bay also smacked her lips, and finally the little girl also participated in the banquet, while Locke was playing with this devil fruit, smiling, and then put the devil fruit. The fruit was put away, and he whispered softly in his heart, we still need to prepare with both hands. Otherwise, many things will be difficult to deal with, so take your time in the follow-up. Anyway, time. There is no rush. Quote. Locke is very calm, and everything is ready, and it will be fine to deal with it slowly later. Not to mention, for these, Locke can see very clearly, and even more so, how to deal with it next. Soon, the banquet also gradually came to an end. Each and every little guy was lying on the ground staggeringly after drinking too much, while Locke looked around, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. He smiled and said, Brother. What are you doing? La. Nothing. Just it's really not good for these little guys one by one. It's really boring. Locke shook his head at this, and didn't know what to say, just kidding. If these little guys can drink you, that would be the strangest thing. Exclamation mark. Simply, now my elder brother actually seldom drinks alcohol, basically he has put too little alcohol, after all. I am also very clear about my body. Yes, so to speak. Drink less and exercise more. It seems to be the life of the elderly, but, in this short period of time, the strength of my elder brother has been improved again. From this, it can be seen that the strength of my elder brother. Just how obvious the improvement in strength is. Locke let out a foul breath, stood up and said, Okay. I'll go first, brother. No problem. Newgate gave a thumbs up, and Locke went back to his villa to get ready to rest, just kidding. The banquet is over, so why am I here with a group of drunken little ones? Dude, don't make trouble. The 100 maids in my house, I haven't turned around yet, this is just the beginning. Wait until when I turn around, and then turn around and come back. Yes, so let's talk. Man, Li Hao. No wonder the 3,000 beauties in the harem are always easy to appear. Good guy. Just my 100 little maids have a feeling of wanting to be happy to death. If this continues to increase in the future, wouldn't it be crazy? So, man, it's not a good thing in his bones. Locke was going to sleep anyway, and fell asleep hugging the limp little maid. Snapped. Cough. Damn it. 17. Damn it. The two little guys were walking on the road. They felt the increasingly cold weather, and they fell to the ground one by one. Their eyes had gradually turned white. It seemed that their lives had passed away. It has reached the limit, and for the two little guys, it is not easy to persist here with just such physical fitness. And, as the two little guys fell to the ground, it seemed their lives ended here. Only, snapped. As life came to the end, the two little guys raised their heads at the end of their lives, as if they saw different people. They saw a tall man holding a handle. The figure of the Naginata is approaching step by step. Who is this? The two of them don't know. They don't know, just. They seem to see the hope of living. Gu la la la. Looking at the two fainted little guys in front of him, Newgate laughed a lot and said boldly, "Two little guys. What's your name?" 11. Joe's. Sage. The two little guys still spoke their names before losing consciousness. Gu la la la. You two just come to be Lousy's son, my. Newgate picked up the two little guys, turned around and left. Chapter 109. Destruction of the country. Is there something wrong with this country's head? Joe's. Sage. Locke looked at the two little guys who were half frozen to death, and said in astonishment, "Brother, where did you pick it up? Didn't I just fall asleep? Why did you pick up two? Where's the little guy?" To be frank, Locke is more or less deluded, very strange. I just fell asleep, but when I woke up, I saw Josie and Sage in childhood. These two little guys are the top of the Whitebeard pirates in the original book officer level figures. Needless to say, Josie resisted Mihawk's slash, and then injured Kuzan, among other things. It can be seen from this that Josie is definitely at the level of a royal cadre, and he is definitely not weak among them. Strength is enough. As for Sachi. In essence, Sachi's strength is not weak. But Sachi didn't care at all, so he was directly killed by Teach, and the result was very embarrassing, so I say. The core of the outbreak of Summit War is Sachi. It can be said that Sachi's death is the fundamental core, but other than that, there is nothing to say about everything else. These two little guys are also very good. But, again, Locke asked curiously, "Brother, where did you find the two little guys?" Gu la la la. Newgate laughed and said, "In the middle of the night, the Sphinx passed by an island, and Lousy was going to take a stroll, but he ran into these two little guys. They are now Lousy's sons." "I see," Locke said. "No problem, I'm used to it. Small matter. Small matter. It's just a small matter. Is this a big problem?" Joke. Locke is very calm about these things, just get used to it. I really got used to it. My brother's ability to pick up children is really unacceptable. To be honest, sometimes I just think about it. Why? What are you talking about because of it? Why is my brother like this? Joe's. Not to mention, that is the level of a royal level cadre, comparable to that of an admiral level cadre. Although it is only for a short time, the strength lies there. Sachi. It is also at the level of a strong player, at least at the level of vice admiral. The results of it, such little guys are picked up one by one, not only. Except for Belle, little Ozzy, Lilith, Tito, Alice and Belle, all the little guys are picked up by my elder brother. I'm back, to be honest. Although Locke said that you are used to it, but most of the time, you still can't understand why. How does my brother manage to pick up so many little guys in 553? Woolen cloth. TB. All of them are penultimate little guys, anyway. Locke is more or less unacceptable, mainly because he is a little confused. To be honest, just according to my brother's luck, if it wasn't for his coquettishness in the original book operation, guess. The strength of the Whitebeard pirates can definitely reach a very astonishing level, so to say. There are many problems, it is really outrageous. Locke also shook his head silently. Forget it. Forget it. Don't discuss these things, no matter what you say. It's always a good thing. Childhood. Joe's. Childhood. Jong. Conquer. At the same time, when the Whitebeard pirates continued to sail and were very indifferent, the news of the Whitebeard pirates' destruction of the country spread to the whole world. Almost everyone in the world knew the news of the Whitebeard pirates' destruction of this country. When everyone first knew about it, they just thought it was a bit strange. According to the character of the Whitebeard pirates, generally speaking, they would not do such a thing as destroying the country, but why did such a thing happen? After careful understanding afterwards, the first reaction of the major forces was, what the hell? Is this TM a problem with your head? What kind of thinking is this? Do you have a problem? You can't understand it at all. Luo Jia looked at the newspaper in his hand, fell into silence, hesitated a bit, and then said in astonishment, "Really, Jabba, I don't quite understand, is there something wrong with the Prince of the British Empire? Such a thing is also possible. Did it happen? This is simply an idiot's behavior. As long as you have a little brain, you can't do such a thing." Seriously, Luo Jia is a model who is usually careless and useful at critical times, and can do any kind of weird things. Luo Jia, Shanks, and Luffy are basically such people, but the most outrageous the root cause is here. Even if there are three guys like this, they still can't do such a thing. This, XX. It's just that the donkey kicked his head. No. This is what he did without a brain. It's unacceptable. I just can't understand why he would do such a thing. The corners of Jabba's mouth twitched and he said, "Luo Jia, if there is no accident, I guess the king had the same idea when he died and saw the prince. What do you think? What's going on in your head?" Shaking his head silently, Luo Jia didn't know what to say. All in all, it's really outrageous. Really, on this sea, as long as you live long enough, you will always encounter all kinds of strange things, such as the things you encounter at this moment. This is abnormally outrageous. It is simply incomprehensible. What's the situation? Anyone with a brain feels weird. He. On the contrary, Rayleigh chuckled very calmly. Actually, it's not something incomprehensible. After a person has just acquired a lot of things, he will naturally become inflated, and now. The Irish Empire, that's it, it's just. His expansion made him pay for it, it's not something incomprehensible. Both Luogia and Jabba nodded in agreement. They also agree with Rayleigh's statement, but it's just that the two of them can't do it. What kind of cerebral palsy behavior is this? As long as you are not an idiot, then. It is impossible to do such a thing, this is what pure cerebral palsy does, anyway. I will study it later. For the Luogia pirates, adventure is their favorite thing, after all. For the entire Luogia pirates, their favorite is to swim in the sea. Set sail, little ones. Roar. What responded to Luogia was a deafening roar. This is the daily life of the Luogia pirates. No matter what time it is, the Luogia pirates will always be like this. They don't think about it so much, it's just like this sailing on the sea. Shaw found what they were looking for. Just sometimes this is the case, what they want to find will be very dangerous, and they have already been targeted, after all. When you want to know the truth of this world, you want to find the so-called when the will, actually. Everything is already beyond doubt, isn't it? So, a lot of everything, things will become more and more interesting, because who doesn't know what will be the next result? Isn't it? This is a very normal thing. It is even said that this is the root and core of. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. Shaki looked at the information in his hands, and couldn't help but twitch the corners of his mouth. He also felt that it was outrageous. What the hell is this? To be honest, many people among the pirates have brain problems, including Shaki, but even including Shaki thinks this is a very outrageous thing. There is really something wrong with the head. Ordinary people just can't do it. Admiral, what's wrong? See for yourself. The other pirates also looked at Shaki curiously, not quite sure what the situation was. Shaki calmly handed over the information in his hand to everyone, and everyone looked at the information with a look of astonishment. What kind of weird thing is this? What are these people thinking? Cerebral palsy. To be frank, the flying pirates really look down on the Whitebeard pirates. From the perspective of the flying pirates, most of them used to come from the disbanded Locks pirates, and they are all a group of pursuers. The guy with the interest is quite unhappy with Newgate, how can I say it? Lousy obviously has nothing, but it turns out. You guy is here to pursue his family. Good guy, are you looking down on Lousy? So, this is basically the root cause of the flying pirates' displeasure with the Whitebeard pirates, AHEB, but tell me. They are not happy with it, they look down on it. But they are also very clear that the strength of the Whitebeard pirates is still very strong, yes. At the very least, although it is said that they have a group of little guys, they have several admiral-level combat power. This strength is absolutely unquestionable, right? So, this is the true strength of the Japanese beard pirates. But, regarding this situation, everyone more or less feels a little incomprehensible. What the hell is this? Someone would do such an idiotic thing. In the present time, Luogia pirates, air pirates, the Whitebeard pirates. The three great pirates are called the three great legendary pirates, which is also very reasonable. No matter who you are, you must admit that the flying pirates have a large number of people, and the elite is very terrifying, while the Luogia pirates, the group is like an impregnable wall. As for the Whitebeard pirate group, it has the most top powerhouses. This is the division of the three legendary pirate groups. But, everyone never thought of it. What is the situation with you? You really don't know how powerful the Whitebeard pirates are. How could they do such an idiotic thing? All I can say is that when the forest is big, there are really all kinds of birds, this is the most outrageous thing. Things are so weird that people really feel very strange. Shaki shook his head after looking at it, and stopped paying attention. Recently, Shaki is researching some new things, such as adding Luogia is included in his left and right hands, for example. Get some dynamite rocks, and then prepare to go to the red line to get a wave, but the dynamite rocks are all kept by Marine, even if Shaki has been investigating, there is no just find it. Can only say, the plot has more or less started to go off track. Although Shaki still has a very big obsession with Luogia, he has already started to study new things. It can only be said that Shaki is really growing up. For whom is the butterfly effect brought by the butterfly lock the greatest, then? For Shaki, it is the greatest butterfly effect, this man. It is true that great changes have taken place, maybe. These many changes are completely meaningless to many people. It is even said that this is a very normal thing. But for Locke, who knows the plot, it is very clear that Shaki has changed. And it has changed a lot. So, many things have really begun to change, and the sea will become more and more interesting. Snapped. At this moment, the sound of footsteps came, and a pirate walked quickly and said excitedly, Admiral. I found it. I found some traces of explosive rocks, although I said no. It is very clear, but you can try it. It is good. There was a sharp light in his eyes, and Shaki laughed excitedly. Gia ha 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 ha, little ones. It's time to move. Roar. The pirates of the Flying Pirates also roared crazily. The day cut is about to begin. Mo. Linlin let out an interesting laugh, and said ferociously, interesting. Interesting. It's really interesting, Kaido. Take a look at this information. Kaido took the information from Linlin and checked it carefully. After reading it, he couldn't help complaining. What do people in this country think? Question mark. Is that prince brainless? Is his brain abnormal? To be frank, Kaido thinks this is outrageous. He is a very crazy person, and he will always do a lot of things that are similar to death. But even if it is such a guy. Most people can't do such weird things. This is no longer trying to die, this is simply courting death. I tell you clearly, Laozi intends to die. In this situation, Kaido feels. It's outrageous. Is there something wrong with this person's head? Ghost knows. Linlin also shook his head, but said very calmly, however. It can be seen from this that the strength of the Whitebeard pirates is really strong. It seems that they want to deal with the Whitebeard Sea. The bandits take action, defeat the Whitebeard pirates, and kill them. It's not an easy task, especially for the newly appeared Digimon. That guy looks like a combination of War Greymon and Steel Geruruman. Quote. Kaido also nodded in agreement. After all, during the process of Omegamon's shot, the heads of Battle Greymon and Steel Geruruman, as well as the weapons, are all very. It is very obvious, so I say. The strength of the Omega Beast is extremely terrifying. This point can already be settled, but if you want to defeat the Whitebeard pirate group, exterminate it, it seems, you need to pay. The price paid is already even greater, and it will even become extremely difficult, and it has never been an easy task to deal with these well. But, my old lady has other ideas too. Linlin grinned at the corner of his mouth, and said ferociously, I want to see how strong the Whitebeard pirates can be. Snapped. Make a fist with one hand. Don't look at Linlin like this, in fact. Many people owe Linlin's favor, not only the original Locks pirates, but also many other pirates. These pirates all owe Linlin's favor. Linlin can always be invited here. So, don't underestimate Linlin, in terms of connections. Linlin is really outstanding, and Linlin maintains a balance among all forces through such means. Heng gradually developed the Big Mom pirates in Wangguo Todo land. It can be said that Linlin is very good in terms of means, abilities, and planning. Even, many times, Linlin gives people a strange feeling, it seems to be obedient. But just don't underestimate Linlin, this woman is also a very scary monster, she is so scary in every way. Chapter 110. See Circle Calendar 1488. The British Empire of Ireland fell. Actually, all major forces have received the news, which is not surprising. For a large pirate group like the Whitebeard Pirates, the major forces are basically watching. It can be said that if it is not impossible to send spies into the Whitebeard Sea bandits, such as the SWROD Secret Force, or if the CP organization cannot enter, it is estimated that everyone will come in. Because of this, it is impossible to get information at the first time. But, it would be the strangest thing if a large sphinx could not find talent. To be honest, the big forces are basically assigned to the CP organization, and Marine's SWROD Secret Force is also assigned to people, after all. Knowing yourself and the enemy can win 100 battles, and intelligence still needs to be done well. But the problem is here, the members of the Luogia pirates are all companions invited by Luogia himself, but what about the Whitebeard pirates? Random, completely without purpose, let's use an analogy. An island may have 10,000 orphans, Newgate took one and left, and an island may have 100 orphans, all packed away, and there may be an orphan on the island, and if you meet it, it will be the same as if you haven't. All said, under such circumstances, the world government is also a nuisance, there is no way. This is completely full of random things, no matter who it is, no one can grasp it in a short time. Naturally, it has become this situation, headache. Quite a headache, but there is still nothing to do. But, this matter is a trivial matter, after all, it is not a major matter, and it will be better to deal with it slowly, but. After understanding, the major forces have fallen into deep thinking about the matter of destroying the country. Can't understand. Even the 5 elders are silent, to be honest. They have considered various situations, and even considered whether the Whitebeard pirates have started to go crazy, and then they have to consider dealing with the Whitebeard pirates. After all, when you Whitebeard pirates are honest, then, naturally, you can say anything. You are a stable pirate group. In the future, whether you want to build a country, become a world noble, or want to establish a dark emperor in terms of background, these are all okay, but for 5 elders, these are nothing. But if you want to find the truth of the world like the Luogia pirates, if you want to seize the world crazy like the flying pirates, then it's different. These are things that need to be considered, this point definitely a very important thing. The issue is, the final result is this inexplicable state. This is the most weird problem. Are you okay? Tell the truth. They are all very at a loss for this sea, even full of unbelievable expressions, can't understand, okay. Anyway, this matter has passed like this, and 5 elders didn't even have the idea of sending someone, after all. Although the British Empire has paid the heavenly gold, it is not yet a member country of the world government this year, and it will only be able to do so next year. Make sure now you are destroyed because of your death. Then Laozi doesn't care what you do. If you die, you will die, it doesn't matter. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Garp opened the door of the office with a big grin, and said with a smile, Sengoku, Zephyr, Ahi, you three are here now. Oh ho, what are you doing? What's wrong? What happened? Garp is very casual, he just sat down without hesitation, anyway. Garp, who just came back from vacation, didn't know anything, and he just walked away. The Whitebeard pirates launched an attack on the British Empire of New World and destroyed it. PFF'd. What? Hearing Sengoku's words, Garp was stunned, his eyes widened in astonishment, and he said differently, what's going on? According to the personality of the Whitebeard pirates, no. According to the personality of the Edward brothers, they will do such a thing. The idea of the brothers is different from that of other pirates. If I guessed correctly, the brothers should want to become the current Kingdom of Flowers, or the Empire of Darkness. The last time I also want to become a world noble just like the former Beloric family. Unscientific. This pair of brothers will launch an attack on the country. Steal money. It's not right. To be honest, these brothers are not short of money. Seriously, if you put this on other pirates, even if you put it on the Luogia pirates who are both enemies and friends, I think it is very normal. They are very serious pirates, but put it on Whitebeard the pirate group, that is a rather strange thing. The Whitebeard pirate group itself has problems. He is not the kind of serious pirate. Crane handed the newspaper in his hand to Garp, and said, look for yourself, to be honest. It's really strange that this happened. Let me see. Garp took the newspaper and read it carefully. After reading it, the whole person fell into silence, and the atmosphere in the office was gradually assimilated. The strange atmosphere of the three people assimilated Garp, or to say. Garp also changed. It's so weird that I can't understand, or even accept what is going on in this situation. Not understand. Incomprehensible. I'm a little confused. Indeed it is. It is undeniable that the four people who basically decide everything in naval headquarters can't help complaining, they can't understand at all. What is the brain circuit of this person? Never mind. Never mind. Garp waved his hand, stood up and said, I'm really not interested in this kind of cerebral palsy, I'm going to continue to go to sea. I finally found the trace of the Luogia pirate group, continue to kill this pirate group, let Laozi see look, what is the strength of this pirate group. No problem. Listening to Garp's words, and everyone present nodded indifferently, it's just a small problem in itself. After all, for Garp, his character is like this, besides. There is nothing to discuss about this matter, because just outrageous. Crackling. Surrounding the already burning bonfire, these three people sat here in silence. Akoku, John, Silver Axe. The three of them were all gathering on this isolated island, and the eyes of the three were very sharp, filled with endless coldness, and even filled with a terrifying chill. For these three people, the last failure was things that are simply unacceptable. Such a failure makes the three of them too annoyed, and it is full of anger and madness, which is definitely too much to make people feel angry. After all, at that time, they fought against the Whitebeard pirates, and they lost so easily. The three of them almost stayed there. This is something that the three of them simply cannot accept. For these guys, it is very normal to be arrogant, but would they be defeated like this? This is simply unacceptable, or even completely incomprehensible. Okay. Do you know the latest news about the Whitebeard pirates? It's just a small country. If it is destroyed, it will be destroyed. What's the problem? Do not. Facing John's madness and arrogance, Akoku brushed his beard and said very calmly, John, the fundamental point you need to pay attention to is this time. Whitebeard and the others have never made a move, whether it was Whitebeard or Locke calling those special creatures named Digimon have never been shot, but only those little ghosts of the Whitebeard pirates shot, and this is the biggest problem core. Just a bunch of brats. John is full of disdain, but John is not an idiot despite being arrogant. He actually knows what Akoku means, what a short time this is. Have these brats grown to such a degree? It's something they can't imagine, or even understand, in other words, they can't accept it at all. They can't understand at all. What a terrible thing this is. The Whitebeard pirates grow too fast. Not only the evolution speed of that kind of Digimon, but these little ghosts are also improving at an extremely fast speed. If this continues, Silver Axe said calmly, Akoku, how do you think it should be handled? To be frank, after being hit again and again, Silver Axe's mentality calmed down instead. Laozi, calm down now, and watch quietly. Laozi wants to see what the follow-up result is. Anyway, it's a small problem, forget it. In Silver Axe's opinion, this is definitely a small problem. If you fail, and then just continue to work hard to become stronger. This is not a big problem, but Akoku said calmly, this is the biggest problem, and it is also the thing that needs to be dealt with the most. We need to contact more power, we need to find a way to form a stronger alliance, otherwise. Facing the Whitebeard pirates will undoubtedly lose, that Digimon called Omegamon, its power. When Omega was mentioned, the three of them fell into silence. Naturally, they also watched the video. Although they didn't want to admit it, what they had to admit was that they saw Locke on the Omega. This is the most unimaginable and unacceptable thing for them. Exhaling deeply, the three of them remained calm. It can be said, after what happened on Happy Island, the alliance of 5 people, Akoku, John, Silver Axe, Linlin, and Kaido, was already ready, and they were ready to do it. As a result, they started to study it now. No way. This if you continue to attack, there is obviously a big problem. This is not an opponent. So, all this is put on hold, and this time is very long. 0. Seeking Flowers. See Circle Calendar 1488. 4 years have passed since the Valley of the Gods War, and during these 4 years, although the entire New World structure is still chaotic, the 3 legendary pirate groups have been fixed. Headed by the Whitebeard Pirates, Flying Sky Pirates, and Luogia Pirates, followed by Powerful Pirates. Big Mom Pirates, 5 Peaks Pirates, the Silver Axe Pirates, John Pirates, Ward Pirates, Group 8 Treasures Navy. These 6 big pirate groups follow closely behind. These are the 9 most powerful pirate groups in New World today, and other than that. So, there are more weak and weak ones, and the middle ones are still. There are all kinds of chaotic pirate groups, there are simply countless, so to speak. Such a huge pirate group, coupled with enough chaos, are all gathered in New World. Chaos and madness, all of these gather together to form the current pattern. This is the pattern of the entire New World at this moment. There is absolutely no need to doubt it. It is so chaotic that it has reached a level that people sometimes cannot even understand at all. Of course, this chaos is for the entire New World, but for the Whitebeard Pirates, it is very peaceful, basically no one dares to disturb, just kidding. Do you want to die? Or do you say, I feel impatient to live, and I plan to die for us to see? Just kidding. It's just like dying. Drink. What? Drink. 11. What? All the little guys are working hard to hone their swordsmanship. Under the teaching of the Night Lord Beast, their swordsmanship is crazy and rapid, and the other little guys are just training hard. It can be said, in this short period of 1 year, the Whitebeard Pirates have been on the right track. Under the leadership of Lilith and Tito, a full number of people has been formed and the number has reached 100 small nurses. Everyone is working hard to study medical books, among other things. The hospital that was originally empty is now full of people. Besides, and many other little guys are also starting to learn what they like to learn, such as sailing. For example, shipbuilding. For example, science. There are a total of 1.2 million books collected in the Tree of Knowledge, and it is not difficult to find what you want to learn in it. Edo. More little ones are studying hard, all in all. The current number of Whitebeard Pirates is 1300. That's right, in this year. There has been a sharp increase in the middle, after all. Basically nothing this year, just wandering and traveling every day. In terms of the number of people, the total number is 1300. After deducting 100 nurses, the total number is 1200. These little guys are male and female. In addition to interesting knowledge, daily training is absolutely very important, and there is no place to relax your vigilance. So, the daily life of the Whitebeard Pirates is also very peaceful. In many cases, this is also very normal. That sentence. Although this sea is said to be full of endless waves and magnificence, it seems that all kinds of things are happening all the time. In fact, for this sea. That said, all this is just the beginning. This is the most normal thing, calm, and will always be the public, after all. The Whitebeard Pirates have already stood at the apex. As long as they are not idiots, it is impossible to have them every day. People come to provoke. And what about Newgate? Committed to building your own family, looking for family members, building your own home, and letting your family pass on. This is the idea of Newgate. For Locke, that is needless to say. Locke's character is there. Locke is very lazy. Besides, the evolution of Digimon itself is not. What is urgent? Just take it slowly, step by step. Naturally, everyone in the entire Whitebeard Pirates is working hard. But, there is only Locke, a lousy person. After all, there is nothing he can do. Chasing fans, watching dramas, playing games, and 100 little maids playing games with him every day, especially those who completely let go. The 100 little nurses who gave up other ideas are cute and cute. They are all obedient, and they can see that the Whitebeard Pirates will definitely be invincible in the future. If someone gave Locke a baby, wouldn't it? Chapter 111. Jess Beast Childhood. Is this directly triggering a crit? Advertise here. Snapped, snapped, snapped. With the sound of this tempering sound, and Abel was panting heavily. Abel, Beasta, Whiteab, Fosa, Skuyard, Karlma, Sage, the 7 little guy, everyone is learning swordsmanship, and naturally, these 7 little guys are all taught by the Lord Night Beast himself, and in the teaching of the Lord Night Beast, in fact. What should be taught has already been taught almost. Want to grow through this simple training? That is almost impossible. If so, then let's change another method, that is to grow through battles, and these 7 little guys are facing the Night Lord Beast. This kind of battle has been going on for a month, it is undeniable. The growth of these 7 little guys is also very amazing, and the speed is definitely very fast. Karl Ma, your speed is too fast. You are a Murloc, and what you are best at is fighting in seawater, but such a fast speed brings the greatest resistance in seawater, which is nothing good thing. You have to ensure that your speed and the resistance of the seawater are in a balance. The Night Lord escaped Karl Ma's attack, and the golden ribbon on his body turned into a long sword, which easily blocked Karl Ma's attack, and at the same time taught Karl Ma, as an octopus fish, Karl Ma's swordsmanship is natural. It is also 8-sword style, but Karl Ma is also studying very seriously. Jinbei, Namuel, Karl Ma, these three little guys are all Murlocs, and as a Murloc, Locke didn't let their little guy eat devil fruit. Since he didn't eat devil fruit, then, naturally, he needs to hone his sword skills carefully. This is beyond doubt. Compared with Jinbei and Namuel's talent in Murloc Karate and Murloc Judo, Karl Ma's talent is more, 673, in Kendo. In terms of seeing, Karl Ma can be regarded as it's just that they are outstanding. The Night Lord Sha will naturally treat them equally. Actually, for the Night Lord Beast, no matter it is any child, even if the aptitude is not very good, it will seriously teach it. Drink. Just at this moment, there was a clear voice, and Wadib had come with the wind and snow. The long knife in his hand seemed to be made of ice and snow. It was accompanied by a sharp cold light, but it also had a piercing freezing air. Jingle. The Night Lord Beast blocked Waitabei's attack, nodded approvingly, and said, Waitabei, any of your famous knives are not for you, for you. The most suitable is this snowflake sword. Through your own, the weapon formed by the condensed ability is not only the most suitable for him, but also the attack with freezing air, which is the most suitable. The same. Fosa, you are the same, your speed and strength are also the same, don't hesitate so much, use the power of the hot fruit. You and Waitab are the same, swordsmanship is just your weapon, don't follow just like Vista, you should work hard to practice swordsmanship, but to bring out your essence, your most powerful strength is the ability of devil fruit. With 1 against 2, facing the attack of Waitab and Fosa, the Night Lord Beast is easy to do, a ribbon easily blocks the attack of the two, and at the same time. It is also easy to let the two little guys fall into a hard fight among. Coming. Do it. At the same time, the other two little guys also launched an attack, Sachi and Skiyad launched an attack, and these two little guys showed their fruit abilities at the same time. During this year's time, Sachi ate it, Paramesha, Transpiration Fruit. It is the devil fruit of Charlotte Daifuku in the original book. Locke thinks that this devil fruit is very suitable for Sachi. In fact, the most suitable one should be Paramesha. Eat the fruit, but it's a pity that there is already demon fruit power, so there is no other way, and this is also no way. Saki. The most important thing for you is to fully display the power of the transpiration fruit. You have to show the power of the devil. Since it is a summoned devil fruit, your swordsmanship is even more important. The summoned devil has displayed its full power. If you need your body to go all out, do you think you still have a chance of winning? Skiyad, your devil fruit is a phantom beast devil fruit, it's just that it doesn't seem to have any power except silk spinning, just. Think about it carefully, the indestructible silk thread has the same power as string fruit is actually almost the same power, because of this. Under such circumstances, what you need to consider is your own power and the power you can exert, combine the silk thread with your sword, or even say. You can abandon the way of the sword and develop your own fruit ability. The Night Lord Beast taught Saki and Skiyad at the same time, and in a short time. The 5 little guys had already fallen to the ground, and they were no longer opponents in a short time. Karl Ma, Sachi, Squad, Waitab, Fosa. After all. Although the 5 little guys are outstanding, and the Lord Night Beast doesn't have the soul of a knight, and it doesn't have all the strength, it is a real admiral level powerhouse, and bullying the 5 little guys is naturally a breeze. The other side, Vista and Bell have already launched an attack. Faced with the attack of these 2 little guys, the Night Lord Beast seems to be more serious. In fact, according to Locke's division, what is the upper limit of these little guys? Woolen cloth. Bell and Little Ozzy, these are definitely real admiral level powerhouses. If they are well cultivated, they will at least be admiral level. As for going down, now the little guys at home, Beasta, Jinbei, and Chaozi, these 3 little guys, have been well trained, and basically belong to the level of the Vice Admiral. As for the rest of the little guys, basically, they are stable at the level of Vice Admiral. If he grows up well, he can reach the level of a Royal Cadre. So, in the more than 1 year of teaching by the Night Lord Beast, Bell and Vista are the fastest growing. As for Little Ozzy, sorry, Little Ozzy's body hasn't recovered yet, even if Lily's medical skills are getting more and more astonishing, but it will take at least another year for Little Ozzy's body to be fully recuperated. No way. In the experiment, compared to Bell's resilience as a Lunalia tribe, Little Ozzy's body has too many problems. If these problems are not handled well, then the next thing will be as the most troublesome, even to say. Little Ozzy is like the dysplasia in the original book. Very good, Beasta, you have begun to master the Bingyao Dao of 3rd generation Onitsu, and its demonic aura. However, this is not enough, you are specialized in Kendo. You have to hone your Kendo to be even better, whether it is to cultivate your own Kendo, or to say. You are learning all Kendo, this is a road, and you need to walk the road on your own. Quote. Bell, You are the best, it is undeniable. Whether it is devil fruit, two-color hockey, kendo training, or physical training, you are the best in every aspect, and what you need to teach is already very good. Less, but more still need you to continue to practice assiduously. The basic road has been completed, and the next step is to further hone hard. After a full 5 hours of teaching, the little guys fell to the ground one by one. The Night Lord looked at these little guys, and was really satisfied, and Jinbei, and ate the shiny fruit Joes, Lakyo, Namur, these little guys are also working hard to improve themselves, and with the hard work and improvement, they have also obtained a huge improvement. It can be said, it is not an exaggeration to say that the Night Lord is basically the total instructor, and after a short rest, each of the little guys got up from the ground and said obediently, "Thank you, teacher." Quote. Nothing, just simple teaching. The Night Lord Beast is full of the feeling of a mother, but it is a distant feeling, which makes each and every little guy very well behaved. Anyway, my own teachers have never slackened their teachings, and under such circumstances, they naturally have to be well behaved, and it has been a year, and they are all used to it. Small problems, small problem, my teacher has such a personality. After finishing the daily training, the next step is to take a good rest, and all the little guys went back, and the Night Lord Beast also returned to its own palace to continue to realize its own strength. At the level of Omega Beasts and Night Lords, it is no longer possible to become stronger through cultivation alone. For Night Lords, the most important thing is to understand the power of data at a deeper level. In other words, understand what the hell is going on with antibodies. Normally, the X antibody is a kind of data, which will form a special evolution after injection, and Locke found that if his Digimon understands it well, it may be possible to comprehend the X antibody by itself, although this possibility is very low, but compared to for Digimons like Omegamon, whose road ahead is extremely broad, and whose various powers are chaotic, the low-ranking Royal Knights like Night Lordmen have such a road, and they have to go if they don't take it. Master. Drink tea. Master. You can't drink, you've had too much. Greater than. Located in Locke's villa, compared to these hard-working little guys, Locke looks like a stupid king, there is really no problem at all. The whole person looks like a stupid king in that kind of story. Similarly, the little maids are surrounded by one after another. After a year, these little maids have grown a step further. No matter how you say it, they are more mature. Locke is naturally enjoying all this calmly. Just kidding. What is the purpose of my hard work for so many years? What? You said that Locke was also playing badly in those years. Omega Beast. Cut him off for me. Anyway, for Locke, such a comfortable life is like being an emperor, but he doesn't need to live like an emperor taking care of everything. This is what he wants most in the most comfortable life. After all, such a good life, if the days have passed, they are gone, no matter what, the most comfortable thing is to lie down comfortably. Well, Locke is lying comfortably by the pool, wearing swimming trunks, his face is full of comfort, it's great. It's great. For a person who was hunted and killed every day when he was 007 in the previous life and was a child in this life, Locke is now it's just comfortable and enjoyable, it's really good. Good day. Good day. It's really good. Locke murmured these words, and grinningly muttered, "That's why. People, it's meaningless to have such great ambitions. Isn't it good to enjoy all this honestly? Always thinking about ruling the world, how tired are you? As long as you have more power, then what? A person, even if he doesn't have the ambition to rule the world, still no one dares to provoke him." Quote. To be frank, Locke feels that those princes vying for the throne of the emperor one after another in history are quite outrageous. According to Locke's character, if he travels to ancient times, he will be as a prince, as long as there is no danger, then isn't it uncomfortable to be a prince who will live a lifetime of glory and wealth? It's just like a joke. How comfortable is this? So. Exclamation mark. In the face of rights, many people will lose themselves. Of course, the premise is that his life will not be threatened. If his life is really threatened, then Locke doesn't mind being a lone wolf, even if Lousy dies. Tear off a piece of flesh from your body. Who is afraid of anyone? Since you want to kill me, then it's no wonder that Lousy is rude to you. Lousy is not the kind of guy who accepts everything. If you think so, then Lousy will not show mercy. Anyway, this is just Locke's character. Locke has always had this kind of character. Basically, there is no big change. To be able to enjoy life is to enjoy life. And if someone threatens me, then I won't have any hesitation. Isn't it just fighting for life? Worth to talk about. Omega Beasts and Night Lord Beasts were all moved out, and a total of 13 palaces similar to the Zodiac palaces in the sanctuary were built on the left and right sides of Locke's courtyard. For the knights, this is more appropriate, and the 2 royal knights are also in this position. Of course, for Locke, there will be no problems at all, not to mention that these little maids are obedient, and obedient, even if they are disobedient, what can they do? The news cannot be reported. If it's an assassination, that's like a joke. Locke's ability is too special, especially as he grows up, his body has gradually developed. It has completely become data, even if it is instinctive. Do you think your weapon can hurt data 1.5? So, This is Locke's extremely special ability, because of this. This is the most amazing situation, so I say. These little maids can't assassinate at all, let alone. After this year, there are not a few of these little maids, just know that they are already honest, forget it. They are broken. Lay flat. They serve their own family honestly. Master. It was originally called Master, but Locke didn't like this title very much, so he changed it to Master. Isn't that enough? This is completely enough for these little maids. Such a new life, for those of them who have lost their own country, each and every one of them is the princess of the subjugated country. As far as the little maids are concerned, they are actually not tired, they just serve Locke alone, and outside, each of them has a high status. After all, beating a dog is also up to the owner. Even the members of the Whitebeard Pirates, no one treats them as slaves, they are all treated as equals, after all. This is Uncle's little maid. They are not qualified to say something. Locke squinted his eyes quietly enjoying this kind of life, suddenly opened his eyes, and whispered, as the fifth digital egg also conceived. Count the time! Exclamation mark. It's almost the same, but it's just curious, what kind of digital egg is it? Locke is very interested. Roller Beast, Unicorn, Garpally Beast and Elastic Beast, these four little guys have evolved into Omega Beast and Night Lord respectively. Beast and Keylin Beast, and what about the fifth little guy? Feeling the fifth little guy that was conceived, Locke was also stunned, his eyes lost focus for a moment. Chapter 112, Little Hack Beast. Invincible Jessamon. Royal Knights. Divided into upper and lower ranks, but who is the strongest? That's really hard to say. The reason is very simple. The lower-ranked Royal Knights basically suffer from the set losses, and each of them has no special power, but what about the upper-ranked Royal Knights? Good guy. That is really ideal. One by one burst out the power is extremely outrageous, just like a monster. Not to mention stubborn beasts and Examons. The former possesses a terrifying power. This kind of power basically makes the Digimon become a Digimon with two characters. Stubborn beasts are exactly the same. The most important thing is, Fire Kamui is in a mature form, what about the perfect body? What about the ultimate body? So, this is the most buggy part of the stubborn beast. Although its own strength is strong, it is barely at the level of the upper Royal Knight, forget it, but I can't help but raise a Fire Kamui. What if the Fire Kamui evolves into an ultimate body? Bug. It's a real bug, it's no problem to evolve into the ultimate Fire Kamui, and basically destroy the world. According to Locke's calculations, if it's the ultimate Fire Kamui, it's almost the same as Uncle O's angel, the shape is almost the same. It is also an extremely outrageous power, a very strange power. As for Examon, its owner has one of the largest data volumes in the digital world, which is equivalent to Liviamon, one of the 7 great demon lords. In other words, they don't need any fancy forms, just quantitative change leads to qualitative change. The pure fact is that the real data volume is too huge. This is Examon and Stubmon. Besides that, other high-ranking Royal Knights, such as Dukemon, have Dukemon, Crimson Form, Ultimate V Dramon, the owner of Ultimate V Dramon, Future Form. There is no need to say more about these 4 high-ranking Royal Knights, and the rest are 3 bugs, such as Alphamon, Omegamon and Jessamon. Needless to say, Alpha Beast, a Digimon with a natural X antibody, if it holds the King Dragon Sword, it will be an unparalleled monster. As for the strength, to be frank, except for the angel form of the Omega Beast that can stabilize the Alpha Beast, the other forms are basically useless. There is no solution. 07. The angel form of the Omega Beast should not be born in essence, it is no longer it belongs to the form that a normal Digimon should have, but it is purely a monster-like form, absorbing the power of 8 badges, and the power born from 8 pure human qualities, it is really not a normal Digimon can be compared. As for Jess, no solution. The strength of Jessamon, that is, it can only be said that it eats the setting. Jessamon was born too late, that is, it eats the setting too well. Jessamon X, Jessamon GX, especially the power of Jessamon GX, MMP is actually comparable to Uncle Ao's angel form. This is an outrageous thing, isn't it? Your Jessamon is so terrifying. It's simply a bug, of course. Some situations are hard to say. Alphamon, King Dragon Sword type, Omegamon, Angel type, Jessamon, GX type, Stubborn Beast, the ultimate body Fire Kamui. The 4 types of these 4 Royal Knights can basically compete for the title of the strongest Royal Knight, but in fact, it is hard to say in essence, the follow-up depends on the amount of data, and Locke thought so it means more. The 5th Digimon summoned by Locke is the Hackmon. That's right, skipping the infancy stage, it is directly the Hackmon in the growth stage. Only, what Locke finds strange is not here, but that it shouldn't be. Rollerman and Unicorn don't need to say much, they are ordinary Digimon themselves, and they can be combined into Omegamon because of other reasons. So, it's not surprising that they were summoned, and the infantry of the Night Lord Beast and the Sleep Beast belong to the lower Royal Knights, and it turned out. How could the Jess Beast be bred from my normal bred data? This is not only one of the upper Royal Knights, but also one of the 4 major bugs. Although Omega, one of the 4 major bugs, has been summoned by myself, the problem is, This is outrageous. Anyway, it's just very weird. Locke thinks it's very strange. Locke rubbed his chin, always felt that it was very strange, and it was outrageous. How did he summon the hack beast? Could it be that? Did you trigger a critical attack yourself? Locke thought about this possibility, and it seems that there is only one possibility. Otherwise, there is no other possibility to describe. Apart from this, I feel that other things are unscientific. Master. Fine. Locke waved his hand and said, it's not a big deal. Nothing. Just remembered some strange things, you don't need to pay too much attention to it. Talking. Locke sat up, comforted the little maid beside him, opened one hand, strands of data emerged, and after Setsuna, the little Hackmon was a small dragon-type Digimon that emerged on the ground. Serve the sunrise. It tilted its head to look at Locke, then lowered its head obediently and said, Lord Locke. Locke nodded and said, there are 13 palaces around, except for the 3 that already have owners, you can choose the others at will. Yes, Lord Locke. The hack beast bowed its head respectfully, and then left, while the little maids couldn't help but stare blankly at the hack beast summoned by Locke. It has been a year since they came to the Whitebeard Pirates. Unexpectedly, they actually saw this scene. In fact, on this sea, many people are very curious whether Locke can really summon this Digimon creature. These little maids who have turned their backs to the light had this task before, but now that they saw it with their own eyes, they couldn't help being dazed. They really didn't expect that this was really the ability of their young master. Locke continued to lie down, and said secretly, okay. The hack beast was born, and it will grow slowly in the future. It's not a strange thing anyway, but I just don't know whether the evolution of the hack beast needs the soul of a knight or not. If necessary, then Lord Knight and Sleep may just have to wait. Soul of the Knight. The gestation of this thing takes a lot of time, 3 years. There is no need for any doubts, it is at least 3 years, and it has been a year since the last Knight soul was conceived, and now it takes 2 years. In the past 2 years, it may be difficult for Hackmon to evolve into Jesmon, after all. The data required for such a Digimon will be extremely terrifying, or in other words, the experience value needs to be extremely terrifying, and Kylin Beast must be it can evolve into a Sleep again. After all, the war is about to begin. Locke doesn't doubt it at all, just kidding. Can those guys endure for so long? It's just like a joke. The war will definitely break out in the past 2 years, and with the outbreak of the war, many things, naturally it's just different. The Kylin Beast lacks experience points, so it can definitely suck it madly. Suck it crazy. Even if it absorbs more, if it's not good enough, it can make the hack beast follow suit. This is the most exciting thing. Locke is also thinking about this matter, but after the hack beast evolved into the savior hack beast, it evolved into a Jess beast. Does it need the soul of the knight? It's really hard to say. Anyway, according to Luke's calculations, among the Royal Knights, the Magnamon is directly evolved from the V-Boy in the growth stage combined with the Hope Armor, and if nothing unexpected happens, the Hope Armor is probably something like the soul of a knight. As for Examon, good guy, Locke just thinks that the conditions for evolution are getting more and more outrageous. In the past, it was a perfect combination of Sholongmon and Didramon, and later it became the ultimate body of Zonlongmon or Destroyer. The beast evolved, and finally, now it needs 2 ultimate bodies to fit together, which is the same configuration as the Omega Beast. If you calculate that he is a high-ranking royal knight and is extremely strong, then it seems to be very normal. So, the evolution conditions of these royal knights are more than one bug, one is more outrageous than the other. The soul of this knight, no matter how you look at it, it is not enough. Locke thought about this matter, and murmured in his heart, if I am not mistaken. It is a total of 38 years since the plot of the original book, from the War of the Valley of the Gods, and now 4 years have passed, and according to the calculation of 1 every 3 years, it should be possible to conceive a total of 12 knight souls, but in fact, it is almost the same, so it is not a big problem. This is really not a big problem. Quote. Locke is very calm about this, these are small problems, follow up slowly, as a qualified salted fish, then. The most important thing is, no matter what it is, don't be anxious, it is not urgent at all, that's it, take your time. Take your time, it's not a big deal in the first place. For these, Locke is very indifferent, to tell the truth. As his strength becomes stronger, Locke can feel that there is a deep power hidden in this world, it should be said. With the establishment of the world government 800 years ago, this power has gradually the beginning of it was hidden. Maybe I am as the only one who has mastered this power now, as for everything else, it probably doesn't exist. But, Locke's idea is very simple, since it exists, then it must be able to continue to exist, and I am has mastered it, which means that other people can also master it, so the Omega Beasts summoned by myself are very strong, then. It is also a step-by-step growth, so I say. Don't worry about everything, you can't become a fat man by eating one bite. Moreover, the growth of Digimon, the speed of my own side is already very fast, normally speaking. A Digimon grows from the growth period to the ultimate body, and there is no 1 or 200 years, which is considered fast. To put it bluntly, the growth speed of normal Digimon is actually very slow. As for the chosen child, Get out, get out, get out. It is the strangest thing. Joke. The selected children are a group of bug-like guys, and they are not normal Digimon themselves. So, this is the fundamental core. Therefore, what Locke lacks most is time. Everything can be done slowly. This is not something that needs to be urgent, only to deal with it step by step, which is the most important thing. Well, never mind. Just wait until later to think about this matter. Don't worry about it now. You have to eat every bite, and you have to walk step by step. Kay thought about it, and decided to let it go first. Don't worry. Don't worry. Anyway, the future is what needs to be considered, and there is no need to be so anxious now, and Luo. Kay is relaxed here. The other side. Snapped. Snapped. Hack Beast walks on the road step by step, but it is around the observer. It is very calm. This is the character of Hack Beast, many times. Hack Beast is like this, its nature. Jay is to let it grow step by step, and watch all this quietly, because the nature of the Hack Beast has gone through all kinds of difficulties and obstacles. Or, the Digimon hack has been tempered against all odds, of course. The number of hacks is extremely rare, or in other words, will be born. The birth of the Hack Beast is a problem. Normally, Hack Beasts can only be created by digital hosts, and in the digital world, many hosts have no consciousness of their own, and basically follow their own instincts quietly. With the development of its own digital world, who knows when 557 will be able to give birth to its own consciousness. And the digital host that gave birth to consciousness. Constancy, World Tree, Homer, God, and many more. The number of digital hosts with their own real consciousness is probably only a dozen or so. What about other things? No kidding. Except that the constancy is a real growth step by step. In the original book, there are even hosts with powerful subordinates like Jess Beast, other hosts of the new generation. There are none. All the hosts of the older generation are growing up one by one. Stand up. So, host, do you want to grow up? It is not an easy task at all. It is even said that it is extremely difficult, or even said, it is almost impossible to grow up. The host, and this is the most desperate thing. Many times, even if the host has been born with consciousness, it still cannot grow up. This is the most desperate thing. Hope, but it is also the most helpless thing, I can only say. This is the most desperate thing for every host. Hack Beast. The Hack Beast that was strolling around heard a voice, turned its head silently, looked at the Lord Night Beast that was approaching step by step, nodded and said, "The Lord Night Beast." Listening to the words of the Hack Beast, the Lord Knight nodded and said, "Long time no see, Hack Beast. I never thought that the Lord Locke summoned you, no. According to Lord Locke's data volume, shouldn't Yu Yiping be summoned?" The Hack Beast calmly said, "It's just a coincidence, we just do our own thing well, and everything else is not something we need to think about." Of course. The Night Lord Beast held a red rose and said gracefully, "That's how it is. As a Night group, we just need to follow Lord Locke's orders. Everything. This is not something we should consider." Quote. The Hack Beast turned around and left, while the Lord Knight shook its head, and it also headed for its own palace. The inheritance of the World Tree that Locke inherited seems not that simple, or in other words, did Locke really simply inherit the inheritance of the World Tree? There are some things that no one knows. What exactly does it represent? Just as time goes by, all of this will be gradually revealed, and at that moment, maybe the new appearance will make all people think it is very strange, even has a kind of dreamy feeling. But all these are things in the future. Right now, it's better to look at the things at present to compare prices. Things in the future are things in the future, and have nothing to do with the present. There is no need to think about it now, because it is meaningless. Chapter 113. Work hard to practice Newgate. News from the prison ship. Wave. The air vibrated slightly, and then it was shattered in an instant. Immediately afterwards, the shattered air seemed to shatter again, and this time it shattered and shattered again and again, and this force seemed extremely terrifying. On this sea, there is only one person who can do such a thing and has such a fruit ability, and that is the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, one of the 3 legendary pirates. Whitebeard. Edward Newgate. Except for this man, no one can do this, and Newgate clenched his fists and was silently beating in the air. This year, Newgate also didn't go out to Rome, because the battle with the Omega Beast really changed Newgate tremendously. Newgate knew that he needed to become stronger, otherwise, his future would still be the same. With the death of Captain Locks, Newgate, in fact, not just Newgate, including Shiki, Luo Jia, etc., whether as former companions or former friends, they are actually relaxed, it's all indulgence. They seem to understand a lot. For them, in their view, they don't need to work so hard to become stronger, because this is meaningless. But this is not the case at all. The water in this sea is very deep, and this sea is also full of endless shadows. You never know what is hidden under the shadows. If this is the case, then the slightest carelessness, with serious consequences, maybe it will be fatal. Because of this, Locke asked Omega to wake up his brother. Please understand, You are not so strong. You are not qualified to relax. You still need to work harder. That's what Locke wants to tell his brother. Therefore, under such strong pressure from Locke, under the terrifying power of Omega Beast, after the failure a year ago, Newgate seems to understand a lot. He also cleared it, and he still needs to become more. I am strong, but I still need to work hard. Everything I have now is not enough. I have to work harder to be the most important thing. This sky is very big. This sea is also very wide. I seem to have stood at the apex of the world, but is this really the case? Actually, Newgate never thought about this question before, but when a person fails, everything he thinks about will naturally become more, and when he thinks more and more, this person will naturally understand a lot. Yes, because of this, Newgate understands a lot, and even more clearly, he knows a lot of differences, which are the differences and changes of Newgate. He understood. Actually, he was not at the top of this world at all. 3 Legends of Pirates. He. It sounds very nice. But in fact, if the strength of my younger brother is deducted, then what will happen to the so-called 3 legendary pirates? In fact, it is not worth mentioning at all. That's right, it is not worth mentioning in the true sense. It is not an opponent of the same level at all. Do you think it is very strange? Or even say, it is very strange, but this is a fact, a real fact. Did they dare to attack the naval headquarters? Did they dare to attack the world government? No. Saying these things seems to be too high of them. Did they dare to go to the Grand Line casually, dare to go to the 4 Seas casually? Actually, as long as you think about it a little bit, you will understand what it represents, and what is going on with all of this. Think about it a little bit, think carefully, and soon you will understand, what do these represent, and you just know what it all means. This is the real sea. The so-called 3 legendary pirate groups, the so-called strongest sea. In fact, everything is just a small sea area, and New World is only half of it in the Grand Line. The distance, but is the Grand Line very big? Very small. Compared to the sea, the Grand Line is really too small. Strong. This is the power in this world, and the so-called New World. It is undeniable. The New World is very powerful, but here, there are many problems. There is no such power that can truly rule the world and manage the world. Or, all these things do not exist, and under the circumstances that all these things do not exist, then in fact, the situation is already self-evident, because everything is essentially nothing meaning. This is the most important thing in the fundamental core, the truth of this world. A year ago, after Newgate failed to face the Omega Beast, and was even hanged and beaten, Newgate understood a lot, and the whole person also understood why he was weak. Is he really weak? And what is this world like? Obviously, all of this, Newgate has come to understand, just because he understands, so. For Newgate, he has to work hard to change all this, he has to work hard to become stronger. This is the time before, my own burning blood, and with the passage of time, my own blood seems to have solidified, but at this moment, it is different. My own blood will boil again, and my own blood will also burn again. This is the change of Newgate. It's only been a year, but Newgate felt that he seemed to have undergone earth-shaking changes. This feeling, it's really very different. As time passed, it came naturally. Newgate felt it, so it turned out that he hadn't reached his limit, and he couldn't become stronger without the so-called. No, it really wasn't like that. I can still become stronger, and this is Newgate's idea. The idea that makes Newgate completely different. I can become stronger. I can continue to become stronger. I can go to catch up. I can, step by step to catch up with effort. In front of my eyes, it seems. I can't catch up with that person at all. It is the change from the heart and the soul of Newgate. It can be said, in just 1 year, has Newgate's strength really improved much? This is impossible. After all, at this level, there can be huge changes in just 1 year, but in essence, for Newgate, the biggest change is not the change in strength this year, but the change in mentality, and this is the most important thing, and it is also the reason for Newgate to become stronger in the future fundamental core. Open corner bracket. Exhaled deeply, and Newgate wiped the sweat from his forehead, calming himself down a lot. His breath seemed to be different. He kept calm and whispered softly, I have become stronger. I have really become stronger. It is not the kind of becoming stronger between life and death in the battle, but I can feel that I am transforming, and I have gained time and time again during training. Promote. Yes, Locke, what you said is not wrong. In fact, all this is because of my mentality. It's not that I haven't improved, but that my mentality itself has problems. I have begun to be satisfied, and I have been complacent, so, I have no way to continue to improve myself. It's not enough. It's not okay, and it's not qualified. For me, for anyone. A sarcastic smile emerged from the corner of his mouth, and Newgate murmured, Locke. You are really changing me. Really, I am like a younger brother when there are actually many big brothers. Same, it really makes people feel ironic. But it's really embarrassing. Forget it. No matter what time it is, it's always like this, I'm like this. Really, I want to go change, but don't know where to start to change. Newgate didn't know what to say, but that kind of feeling really made people feel very helpless. It seemed that he didn't know what to say, it really made people have a feeling it's such a headache. But, Newgate, however, had a different feeling following him. He clenched his fist with one hand and said with sharp eyes, "So. Let me take a look, what will happen in the future? And what will the future of Wei be like? This is what I am looking forward to very much. I am very curious about what my future will be like, and what is placed in front of my eyes. What will I say again, Luo Jia? Shiki, Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr. You guys, don't be surprised when you see me again." There was a sharp light in his eyes, and Newgate's aura was extremely terrifying, obviously. It is not an exaggeration that this man has really undergone earth-shaking changes, it is a kind that comes from the soul, no matter in any place everywhere, there are changes of extremely terrifying aura, this is the transformation of Newgate. Never mind. Newgate shook his head. Regarding these things, he still didn't say anything in the end. It's not important, everything needs to be dealt with slowly, for all of this. Newgate is different, even say it. Motivation to work really hard. Daddy. Lilith. Gu la 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 tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. Really? Lilith, you are still so punctual. Newgate turned his head to see Lilith, who was wearing a pink nurse uniform, was walking step by step, and laughed boldly, yes. Yes. No matter what time it is, Lilith is always so punctual, and Lilith is also a standard girl's 18th transformation, she has been changing, she is more glamorous and beautiful, and Lilith came over, very skillful to check her father's body, she does not want her father-dad has any problems with his body. Soon, 20 minutes later, Lilith stood up holding the instrument and said, "Father, there is nothing wrong with your body, but be careful when you should be careful. If there is an accident, it is not a good thing. You still have to be careful." Gu la la la. Newgate laughed and said, "Lilith, don't worry. Laozi will not destroy his body, but Laozi wants to see the demeanor of a higher place. If there is a problem with Laozi's body before then Laozi can't see the demeanor of higher places." There is a very interesting smile in the corner of his eyes, and Newgate's eyes are full of arrogance, yes. For Newgate, he now has further confidence, and since he already has such in my heart, then. Of course I won't just relax my vigilance here, this is absolutely impossible, at least. For Newgate, this is absolutely impossible. He will work harder, and become stronger step by step, and this is Newgate's heart. Only he will become stronger unswervingly, and this is the result Newgate wants. Lilith didn't say much, she naturally felt the changes in her father, whether it was from drinking, or some actions that hurt the body in the past, they all disappeared now. After the battle, it is necessary to treat the body, it is very important to carry out maintenance and treatment, otherwise there will still be problems with the body. Again, shock fruit. This is a top-level devil fruit, and it is a devil fruit that will cause recoil damage to your body, but do you really think this devil fruit is like this? Of course not. This devil fruit only needs to be well pay attention to your body. After the battle, you should treat and maintain it in your daily life. There won't be any problems. After all, if the real shock fruit is such a devil fruit, it is destined to cause unparalleled damage to the body. The huge damage is a very strange thing. So, this is absolutely impossible, just to say. A lot of problems have happened all the time, so these problems are gathered together to form such a situation. This is a very important thing. Newgate, I am very serious about these things, and they are very calm things. I have seen a lot. I also see it very clearly. I also know how to deal with everything that follows. As it is now, Lilith's treatment must be very serious, this is not a joke, it is natural. Many things, but there will be no problems. Daddy. Lilith's treatment was completed, and she was about to leave. At this time, Lakeo walked over quickly, and said with great excitement, "Father. That's great, we finally found the prison ship of Lee's news." Listening to Lakeo's words, Newgate was also taken aback, his face full of astonishment, as if he hadn't thought that such a situation would happen. Prison ship. This is the place where the world government placed New World, either to conduct research on some inhumans, or on some special devil fruit, and because of this, these researches are very special, and in this under the circumstances, many times, many problems will occur. After all, these prison ships are not suitable, so they can only be placed in New World, and over time, New World has a number of prison ships, but these prison ships are operating on the edge of New World, and there are CP organizations help hide, seriously. It's just Newgate's luck to be able to find the almost impossible thing, Bell and Ozzy's prison ship can be found. Besides, I have been searching for 2 or 3 years, and I have not found any prison ship, because of this. This is the strangest and weirdest place. The problem of the prison ship is so strange that it cannot be found at all. And over time, they almost gave up and searched symbolically, after all. This kind of thing is really too difficult to find. Only, unexpectedly, there was news all of a sudden, and Newgate said interestingly, "Lakeo, Lilith, let's go. Let's go find this guy Locke, this lazy guy, it's time to get up and move around. You have to check the location of the prison ship. Otherwise it's time. Haven't we searched for so long in vain? Newgate strode away towards the distance, and the smile on the corner of his mouth became more and more intense. Lilith and Lakeo also followed the pace of their father and were going to see their uncle. Chapter 114. Secret Support. A new alliance is formed. Advertise here. The Whitebeard pirates find the prison ship. Only, on the other side, Hachinosu. This island is actually full of legends in the New World. It is a pirate island. Back then, a large number of pirates formed the Locks Pirates here for the purpose of making a big ticket. Since then, it is a legend that started an era, and with the passage of time, this legend gradually disappeared. Over time, Hachinosu became Pirate Island. Naturally. This island has become very different, it has become completely different. This is this island called Hachinosu, and this island, at this moment, is unfolding before you, and this island, in the Sea of Locks after the bandits came to an end, they were taken down by Akoku and became Akoku's territory. In the original book, they ruled for decades until they were finally defeated by Teach and Kebi. It became the territory of the Blackbeard pirates. Snapped. Walking on the road step by step, while John was drinking, he walked towards Akoku's castle. Soon, even when he came to the castle, he didn't hesitate at all. He just pushed open the door and walked in. Just walked into it, just saw a figure wearing a tiger mask, wearing a white suit, and a white coat. Although John said he was a crazy guy, but this man should know very clearly. He knew immediately who the person in front of him was. CPO. Oh, John also showed an interesting look, which is very interesting. You know, the identity of the CPO will be very special, and they actually appeared here. This is an interesting thing. And looking at this man, John sat down, his expression was very calm, but the corners of his mouth were grinning, and he said interestingly, CP0. Why do you guys appear here? Trade. The CPO wearing a tiger mask spoke calmly. The purpose of his visit is naturally for a transaction, and the purpose of this transaction. The process. The result. What is it? No one knows. But, John knows that I'm afraid I need to know, after all. If you don't want to let yourself know, it seems that there is no need to put the transaction here. Thinking of this, John felt more and more interesting, although he said, I don't know what the deal is, but, obviously this matter is also very interesting. John waited quietly. Really. As time passed, soon, Silver Axe also arrived, and with the arrival of Silver Axe, Akoku also came out from behind, brushed his beard, sat down cross-legged, with a smile on the corner of his mouth, and said indifferently 947. John, Silver Axe, you are all here. This one is today's guest. Oh, the expressions of the two people are very interesting. John frowned slightly and followed closely, but he found it very interesting, while Akoku nodded very calmly. Both of them looked at Tiger quietly, and Akoku he sat down and said calmly, Tiger. This is your name, right? Sui, who nodded calmly, and said in a very calm voice, this is my famous minister. Actually, no one is an idiot, everyone can see that this is not the name of a tiger, he is just because he wears a tiger mask, so he is a tiger, but sometimes, it is like this. What is your name? Actually, this is not an important matter, or in other words, it has never been an important matter. No matter what your name is, in fact, it is already indifferent. CPO, when you join it, you will naturally give up your own name, all you have to have is the name given to you by the world government, remember. This is your name, any other people are incomparable, and this is where the name Tiger comes from. Akoku calmly said, Tiger, let's talk about it. What does the world government want us to do? Or to put it another way, what does the transaction you mentioned represent? It's better to explain clearly. You should know very well that if you're joking, you won't get out of here alive. There was a frightening light in his eyes, and Akoku followed closely, and everything returned to calm, but those indifferent words were full of terrifying dangers. This is the horror of Akoku. And listening to Akoku's words, Tiger is very calm, after all. He is not scared. Besides, for Tiger, his mentality is like this, his character is like this, he is a member of CPO, as long as it is the order of the world government, then. No matter who is anyone, as long as he accepts the order, even if he knows that he will die, then. Tiger will not back down in any way, this is the character of Tiger, or in other words. This is the character of all CPOs. Of course, who also knows that although he has quasi-admiral strength, but if he is joking here, then he will definitely die. These are three real admiral-level powerhouses. One of the three of them, himself there is also the possibility of running away. 2 people are basically waiting to die, and 3 people are sure to die. I don't even have the strength to resist. So, Tiger knows it, and he can make it clear, so he can survive naturally. If you can't explain it clearly, then it's hard to explain. It must be impossible to survive, this is absolutely beyond doubt. Tiger paused calmly for a moment, and then said, orders from the world government. We will provide you with help against the Whitebeard pirates. Atmosphere. It became different in an instant. Akoku, John, Silver Axe, the aura of the three of them became very strange. The three of them looked at the tiger, and they all had different expressions, to be honest. I guess the first half of the action, it is probably to provide help, and it is aimed at a certain person, but who is this certain person? This is the strangest thing, and Akoku is not sure. After all, no one is real it's worth targeting. But, at this moment, Akoku understands feelings. The target is the Whitebeard pirates. This is a very interesting thing. Or, why is it aimed at the Whitebeard pirates? The matter itself was an extremely interesting matter, and because of this, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe, the three of them were also people who had seen big scenes after all, and soon calmed down. The three of them didn't continue to say anything, they just sat there quietly, waiting for the next tiger to continue to speak, and he wanted to listen to what the tiger said. It's easy. Tiger calmly said. The development of the Whitebeard pirates is too fast, and the Whitebeard pirates need to be dealt with, and if the world government takes the initiative to deal with it, then it will bring big problems, it is even said. The combination of a large number of pirates in New World is the most troublesome thing, so the best way is to unite you pirates, and the three of you form an alliance against the Whitebeard pirate group. Then, he is the most suitable candidate. Hearing Hu's words without the slightest concealment, the three of them frowned slightly, thinking about this matter in their hearts. In the end, none of them said anything, or said. There is no need to say anything. Any meaning that needs to be discussed has no meaning at all. Say so much, it is meaningless in itself. Actually, all three people know that in the new world, I'm afraid. This kind of thing will happen a lot of times, after all. For these pirates, let them refuse the help of the world government, especially this kind of help, in fact. I'm afraid it's impossible, after all. They're not idiots, how could they refuse such help? If they refuse such help, then it's already self-evident what means. Akoku exhaled slightly, and said calmly, since you want to attack the Whitebeard pirates, then there is no problem with this matter, so let's say. What kind of things can your world government provide? Help. Akoku's eyes are very calm, and because of this calmness, so Akoku wants to see what the next result will be, or to say, what is the other party's purpose? If it is just empty talk, if so, then this deal is over. If you treat yourself and others as cannon fodder, then you definitely don't mind leaving CP0 here, after all. How dare your world government start a war in New World? It's almost like a joke, you know. Just like what Tiger said, if the world government makes a move in New World, then it will cause a rebound from all the pirates in the entire New World. At that time, whether if you want to participate in it, or don't want to participate in it, then you must participate in it, otherwise. But accidents will happen. This is absolutely unquestionable, because of this matter, you have to understand what is going on, and you have to know how to deal with this matter. Hearing these words, Hu said very calmly, this matter is naturally already prepared. First of all, the world government will prepare 3 admiral-level powerhouses for you, and a total of 7 vice-admiral-level powerhouses. Such 10 powerhouses, and an elite force of 5,000 people, are definitely the elite of the elite. In addition, there are almost 1 billion Baileys in money, and a total of 5 devil fruits, all of which are above the middle level. Devil fruit, this is the power that the world government can provide to you, but you must clean up the Whitebeard pirates, otherwise. This is absolutely not allowed. Tiger's voice was very calm, but this time, it was full of danger. You should be very clear, according to the power of the world government, defeating the Whitebeard pirates is not a troublesome thing. After all, you also have the preparation as just. If you still fail under such circumstances, then you are very clear about the price you will bear. Listening to Hu's calm words, the three of them were very clear about what they meant, after all. Although the three of them didn't show it, they couldn't help admiring secretly in their hearts, it was really terrifying. It is the power of the world government, it is really terrifying, is this the world government? Or, this is the terrifying power of the world government, just to target the Whitebeard pirates can use such a terrifying power, and this is the scariest thing. Hu, slightly exhaling, Akoku said very calmly, I accept all these, I will confirm the Whitebeard pirates' trace in the shortest possible time, and then attack the Whitebeard pirates. Unnecessary. We have. The trace of the other party has been confirmed. Tiger took out a permanent pointer from his pocket, and said calmly, this is a prison ship, and the Whitebeard pirate ship has a great interest in prison ships, we deliberately vented. After revealing this information, according to our speed and deviation, this time will be 22 days later, and before that, as long as you are ready to arrive at Prison Island to take precautions, you will be able to. Yes, of course. If there are any problems during this process, we will contact you again. Quote. Akoku, John, and Silver Axe, the three of them fell into silence at the same time. A feeling of fear rose involuntarily in their hearts, not only for the power held by the world government feels fear. Even more, I am shocked and terrified by all the arrangements of the world government, it is too perfect. When they are looking for you to join forces, they have already arranged everything. The three of you. Admiral level, 7 vice admiral level, a full 5,000 elite troops, plus the forces arranged by myself, in other words. In fact, this war is almost inevitable. Doubtful things are almost the result of winning, as long as you are not an idiot, then it is almost impossible to lose. It can be said that this is the only result, and at this moment. Just look at. Will the three of them accept this deal? Of course. Even if they don't accept it, it doesn't matter. Even if they don't accept it, the world government can still find other people, after all. What is given is very enough. Whether it's Pele or devil fruit, it's hard money. Especially devil fruit. On this sea, whoever dares to say that he does not lack devil fruit, that is celestial dragons, that is world government, besides that. No one dares to say that he does not lack devil fruit, this is simply impossible. Exhaled deeply, and Akoku said calmly, okay. We know, what is the approximate arrival time? 5 days. It only takes 5 days from your place to where you are, and people are already waiting outside. As long as you want, these people can enter Hachinosu immediately. It is good. When Akoku heard this, his heart trembled slightly, he knew it. He didn't know about this matter at all. In other words, if he didn't have any. If you are ready, hiss. Just thinking about it, I know what the result is, I'm afraid. The other party has already made preparations for his side to turn his face, and now that he accepts it, this force will be. It belongs to oneself. Akoku said calmly. 5 days is enough, we need to prepare, I will look for more power, make sure nothing will go wrong. After all, you all know very well that the one called. Be a Digimon of Omegamon. Its power is very terrifying. If you let it act, you all know what the result will be. Quote. Nature. Hearing Akoku's words, the tiger present nodded and said, about this point, of course, it is already prepared. For the strong Omegamon, the world government. It can also be taken out, but it is not suitable, according to calculations. The Whitebeard pirates have a top-level powerhouse and 3 admiral-level powerhouses, and such power, combined with the world. The power provided by the government is completely sufficient. Quote. Can. Akoku nodded in agreement without hesitation. That's right, he just nodded in agreement without hesitation, without any hesitation, it is already enough, this kind of power is enough. It's no problem at all, and the Whitebeard pirates can definitely be dealt with. Chapter 115. Whitebeard Pirates, Pirate Alliance, World Government. A good show is about to be staged. Snapped. Now that this matter is confirmed, then. The alliance is naturally established, and this matter is over. With whose departure, only Akoku, John, and Silver Axe are left in the room. The three of them remained silent, as if they were thinking about something at the same time. After a while, Akoku said slowly, sure enough. As I expected, when the Omegamon appeared, I've already guessed, what's next. What might happen, I just didn't expect it to happen so soon, the world government is already ready to make a move. Indeed, regarding this matter, both John and Akoku nodded in agreement, after all. The two of them are not idiots, they are very clear, what will happen next, or what will happen next. How would it be, after all? Two people are not idiots, they see it clearly. Omega, too strong. In the impression of Akoku, John, and Silver Axe, the strength of the Omega Beast is too strong, and it has already become so strong that it needs to be dealt with. How should such a strong man be dealt with? Obviously, this is an important issue. If this is the case, then let's deal with it in another way. The easiest way is to deal with it by the world government. In their view, this kind of strength is like that of the former Captain Locke's the same, it has reached a level that is very scary, or even impossible to handle at all. If so this kind of strength, do I need to say more? Obviously, this is already a matter that does not need to be said at all, because of this. Under such circumstances, the next result. As long as you are not an idiot, then you all know how to deal with it, which is to deal with it in the shortest time. Otherwise, if such strength continues to grow, then the Whitebeard pirates will become the next 10 Locke's pirates. This is the biggest trouble. After all, how terrifying is the level of Locke's summoning? This is hard to say. If the number of summons is really endless, then the future is very interesting, even to say. The future results are very interesting things. Akoku exhaled slightly, and said calmly, no matter what. This time with the help of the world government, with the help of 3 more admiral-level powerhouses, next. Target the Whitebeard pirates, but it's easier. No. At this time, Silver Axe suddenly said, it's very troublesome. In other words, it is still very difficult to win, you should be very clear about how strong Captain Locke's is, 8 admirals. In the end, 3 of them died, and 3 of them lost. In the end, there were only 2 of them left, and that was barely enough to win. In other words, to defeat a strong player at the level of Captain Locke's, at least 8 admirals were needed, and these 8 admirals need to fight for their lives. What about the current number? Listening to what Silver Axe said, Akoku squinted his eyes and began to calculate. After a little calculation, yes. Although it seems that the power brought out by the world government is very terrifying, it is actually not the case at all. In other words, among them there are so many problems, if you don't think carefully, it seems that you didn't find anything, but as long as you think carefully, you will find many problems among them. Which admiral-level powerhouse is dispatched by the world government? How many people are Akoku, John, Silver Axe, and Linlin? These are 7 admiral-level powerhouses. The Whitebeard pirates themselves have 3 admiral-level powerhouses. In other words, in this battle, if you don't take it into consideration but make a sudden move, then it is definitely a matter of defeat. Quote. John was stunned. This is a simple conversion, just to say. Because the cake given by the world government is really too big, because of this. They have forgotten what the situation is like for a while. And many more. Akoku's eyes suddenly became sharp, and his voice was very sharp. No. No, it's not right at all. It's impossible for the world government not to know about such a situation. In other words, the world government is aware of these situations, then why did they do this? The strength they show is very subtle, it seems to be very powerful, but in fact, it doesn't make much sense at all, and it's not enough to face the Whitebeard pirates. Actually, the horror of the current Whitebeard pirates is the horror here. They need at least 12 admirals to face them. This is not counting Locke's already terrifying strength. If it is counted, everything will be. It's hard to say. Because of this matter needs to be handled carefully. I see. Akoku's expression was very calm, and he even said very sharply, the other party's purpose is not to target the Whitebeard pirates in essence, but the other party's purpose is to target us, after all. The Whitebeard pirates and us pirates are different. For the world government, it doesn't really matter whether the Whitebeard pirates are destroyed or not. Both John and Silver Axe were stunned. Although Akoku didn't realize what the world government wanted to do for a while, but from the perspective of the mind, Akoku's mind is definitely the most intelligent, and because of this, as long as he is not an idiot, then he can see very clearly, and will be very clear about what the next result will be. So, regarding this matter, Akoku said softly, what exactly is our alliance, actually? I think the world government should already be clear. If the 3 of us, Linlin, and Kaido can all be dealt with, then New World the pattern will become much easier in an instant. Listening to what Akoku said, it is undeniable that this is a very huge thing. If they can be disposed of, then it is undeniable that the pattern of New World will be different in an instant. Only, John thought for a while and said, Akoku, it's very strange for you to say that. The strength of the Whitebeard pirates is so terrifying, will the world government think it doesn't matter? He. Akoku stroked his beard, and said very calmly, because we are enemies. And if we were not enemies, do you think the Whitebeard pirates are a big problem? They don't rob the country. Noisy. It is even said that there is no idea of occupying the island at all, but sailing inside the Sphinx. In such a situation, according to the idea of the Whitebeard pirates, such strength. There is no idea of conquering the world, let alone seeing the idea of a blank 100 years in the past. Do you think the Whitebeard pirates are a threat? Both John and Silver Axe were slightly stunned. The 2 of them have always regarded the Whitebeard pirates as enemies, but when you give up the frame of enemies and think about these things, you will find that, in fact, although the Whitebeard pirates are powerful, it seems that it is not a big problem at all, if it is calculated in this way. I understand. Silver Axe nodded very calmly, and said seriously, Whitebeard pirates. 1. Don't fight for world hegemony, and 2. Don't look for historical texts. For the Whitebeard pirates, or, for the Edward family, either they want to build a country like the current Kingdom of Flowers, either they intend to build a dark force like the Dark Emperor, or they want to build a world noble like the Baroric family. That's right. Akoku nodded and said, if we jump out of the thinking of being an enemy, then we will find that, in fact, for the world government, it seems, the Whitebeard pirates are nothing at all. If this is the case, then what else needs to be said is it? Both of them nodded seriously, while Silver Axe frowned slightly. So, are we going to die? To be frank, this is death. Facing a strong man at the level of Captain Locke's 7 admirals. What are they doing? They are simply trying to die. Besides, there are 3 admirals in their family, not all forces are Locke's. Thieves, the Locke's pirates back then were not acting, they were acting out of the blue. Even so, Captain Locke still killed a marshal and 2 admirals, what if it was not acting? The Valley of the Gods has been overturned. The Whitebeard pirates are different. Their internal relationship is very good. He. With a cold smile, Akoku said cruelly, of course not. Since the world government wants us to die, then let's send the world government to death, even if the world government family has a great career, the 3 admirals a level injury, I'm afraid it's very uncomfortable, right? Listening to Akoku's words, Silver Axe and John thought for a while, and immediately understood what was going on. The corners of their mouths grinned cruelly at the same time. This matter, it can be dealt with a little bit, though. Staring at myself and others, if I and others do not participate in this battle, it is estimated that these 3 admirals in Hachinosu are not targeting the Whitebeard pirates, they are targeting themselves and others. But isn't it an easy task to work without any effort? At least, for everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates, this is definitely an easy task. Search. He licked the corner of his mouth slightly, and the next thing will be much more interesting. Or to put it another way, isn't the next thing very interesting? No one knows the next result. What will it be like? But the fact is that things are going to get more and more interesting. Three-party game. Or, the Whitebeard Pirates never participated in this game. This is a two-party game, and the result of this game will become very interesting. 0. Seeking flowers. Who wins and who loses? This will keep getting more and more interesting. After all, they are all foxes of the millennium. Who are you playing chat with? Who do you look down on? What's more, this is a chaotic situation in the new world, your world government. This time it is because of Akoku's permission. This time it came so safely Hachinosu, otherwise. Do you think it's that easy? Stop it. If it were that easy, then New World wouldn't be the most chaotic place. It's so easy there. He. The smile on the corner of Akoku's mouth became more and more intense, and he whispered softly, come on. Try it, this time. Let's see what the result is, but, John, Silver Axe, you two must be clear, after this time. It is actually very difficult to continue to target the Whitebeard Pirates, even almost impossible. Humph. John snorted coldly, he also knew, in fact. Exclamation mark. According to the alliance of the three of them, they are no longer the opponents of the Whitebeard Pirates, even if Linlin is added, it is the same thing, otherwise. Has their pirate alliance waited so long? You have already done it. If you can do it, you have already done it. As for forcing Lai here, obviously, it is because it is almost impossible to do it, so this problem will arise. Otherwise, isn't it good to directly deal with the pirates according to the power of the world government? Actually, this is also an idea of the world government, just to maintain a balance. For the world government, it is just raising pirates, very simple. What do pirates represent now? Balance. That's right. In the eyes of five elders, pirates represent balance. If there were no crazy guys like pirates, who would attack the country? Who would disrupt the balance of underground forces? Think about it. Think about it carefully, so I say. This is the meaning of pirates. In the eyes of the world government, pirates are now maintaining the balance of the entire sea. Let the world government stand high and keep the whole world in balance. And if all the pirates disappear, what will the superpowers and the Dark Emperor do? Question mark. Simple. They will devour other countries, devour other underground forces. It's that time. A behemoth will appear, and will there be problems with the rule of the world government? Since your world government can rule the world, does that mean that I can too? So, this is the fundamental core reason. Everyone is very clear. If the pirates disappear, this is the biggest problem, even to say. Five Elders is even very satisfied with the transformation of the Whitebeard pirate group. It's very simple. You just need to maintain this balance, then. What will become of your Whitebeard pirates after transformation? You will be one of the people who eat the cake. For the five elders, everyone eats the cake, but the cake is so big, and the more you eat, the more you fight, it is becoming more and more fierce. Because of this, do you need to say more about the following results? Obviously, as long as you are not an idiot, then you are very clear about what the next result will be. This is absolutely beyond doubt, and by that time, the future result will already be self-evident. Or, as long as you are not an idiot, then you will be very clear about what the result will be. Your dog heads can be shot, and the world government is still watching from the sidelines, quietly watching your dog brains. They are all typed out, and I am laughing at the situation. This is the method of the five elders. What they want to maintain is the balance in this world, because when the five elders find that it is impossible to rule the world, then exclamation mark. The best way is to use this method to maintain the balance. Through such a balance, the world government can maintain an incomparably superior position. This is the way of the five elders. They have maintained the balance of this world for a long time through such means. And, during this long period of time, the world government has been accumulating strength. As long as this balance is maintained, your strength will be weakened because of the balance. Exclamation mark. However, the power of the world government will only continue to increase over time. %. What will be the long-term result? That is to completely bring the whole world under the rule of the world government. And how long is this time? I don't know. Maybe 300 years, 500 years, or even longer. But this is nothing important. As long as this balance is maintained, then. For the world government, everything is really too simple. Chapter 116. The undercurrent surges under the storm. Clatter, clatter. The ship was sailing on the sea, and as it sailed slowly, Stussy exhaled a wisp of green smoke and said calmly, Tiger, do you think that according to the personalities of Akoku, John, and Silver Axe, you will believe it? Quote. Unimportant. Who said very indifferently. It doesn't matter whether they believe it or not, because they have no possibility to choose. This war is something they absolutely cannot refuse, and they must participate in it. This is something that must be dealt with. No one can change that. Indeed. Stussy shook her head, but she didn't continue to say anything. Her mission this time is just to follow along. If a war breaks out, it will be enough to help defeat Akoku, John, and Silver Axe. Other than that, the matter has nothing to do with her. For Stussy, other things are just trivial matters. Since this is the case, there is no need to ask too much, because the war did not break out, and the next thing naturally has nothing to do with him, it's all about the relationship. Tiger didn't continue to say anything, in fact. This time there are a lot of people preparing for the action. Including Tiger, a total of 18 CP organization powerhouses have been mobilized, and among them, there are also 3 admiral-level powerhouses and 7 vice-admirals. The powerhouses at the top level were dispatched from other places. It can be said, these all belong to the world government, extremely terrifying power, and because of this, under such a huge amount of power. Next, the preparations made by the world government this time. Obviously, it is beyond doubt. It can be said, Akoku, John, and Silver Axe guessed what was going on, but the other party also guessed what these 3 people were thinking. But everyone in 567 watched all this silently. No one backed down, and no one chose to back down, because everyone knew very well that if they back down here, then there will be a huge accident. If this is the case, then what will be the next result? No one knows. The 3-person pirate alliance is calculating the world government, and the world government also intends to dispose of the 3-person pirate alliance. It can be said, this is an undercurrent surging hidden under the violent storm. Everything seems to be on the bright side, but in fact, everyone is planning in secret, everyone is in the dark waiting for the result, they are all ready, as long as they are given a chance, even if it is just a momentary chance, then it is enough. They will be like Lion Majesty hidden in the shadows, take the opponent's life in an instant. Only, everything is right in front of you, and whether you can seize this opportunity is hard to say, or to say. It's hard to say for everyone is looking for their own opportunity, even if it's just a moment, but even if it's just a moment, but it's enough, because this will be a deadly force. The Sphinx. Compared with the other 2 parties in the chaos this time, the Whitebeard pirates are much calmer, they are completely in the same state. I don't know anything. Don't ask me about the situation. Lousy really doesn't bother to pay attention to you, and because of this, I don't know the situation here at all, and the next question is that there is no need to say more, it can be said. This depends on the strength of the Whitebeard pirates. If it is strong enough, then naturally everything it's easy to say, but if it is not strong enough, then everything will go wrong. Prison ship. Oh ho. Hearing this, Locke became interested, rubbed his chin interestingly and said, this is very interesting, I didn't expect it. I found the prison ship again, but Lakeo, is the information accurate? Uncle. Lakeo scratched his head and said, normally speaking, the information should be very accurate, after all. It was all discovered by our own brothers and sisters. There shouldn't be any problems. The other party's route has been determined. We just need to continue to search. Prison ships are basically found. Locke raised the corner of his mouth, and said interestingly, if this is the case, then it will be very interesting, let's go. We also went straight to the prison ship, just to see if this prison ship can what a good thing. To be frank, Locke is very interested in the prison ship. This thing is like a treasure chest, or even a treasure house. Not only is it easy to obtain, but it also contains all kinds of rare treasures, such as say, there are Bell, Little Aussie and Devil Fruit hidden in this prison ship. Good stuff. Good stuff. There are too many good things here. Locke is quite satisfied, although he said that he has a rather salty personality, but there are so many good things in front of him, of course he is very interested, after all. People live for money, for sex, or for power. If you say that you don't care about anything and are pure-hearted in the true sense, then remember, this kind of person, stay away from him. Anyway, in Locke's view, people who don't care about anything, you expect this kind of person to care about you at a critical moment. Stop making trouble. For this kind of person, as long as there is a little accident, the first thing is to abandon you. Therefore, Locke thinks, people, it's better to be happy, being always thinking about becoming that kind of guy who has no feelings. If you become that kind of guy, even if you can live without limit, then. And what do you mean? Obviously, this is simply impossible, anyway. In Locke's view, it is meaningless, no relatives, no hobbies, no anything you want, just simply alive. That may be the real meaning, simply alive, other than that, everything else. There is nothing left. Catch up, Locke said with a smile. Lousy really wants to see it. This prison ship is a good thing. There must be a lot of it in New World. When the time comes, we will make more. It must be very good. Gu la la la. Listening to Locke's words, Newgate laughed loudly and said, Look, what did Lousy say? Locke is really interested in these things. Cut. Hearing his brother's laughter, Locke also waved his hands, and said indifferently, what's so strange about that? Isn't it normal for Lousy to be interested in something? Gu la la la. Newgate is still laughing, while Lilith and Lakio are both laughing and shaking their heads, to be honest. They don't seem to be very interested in anything about their own family. Every day they stay up late except for eating, drinking, and having fun. They are also a little dazed, it seems. The uncle in his own family has an attitude of not caring about these at all, as if he doesn't care about anything. Actually, it's not that Locke doesn't care about everything, it's just how do you say it? Are you talking about beautiful women? Locke is a man, of course he likes beautiful women. But, I'm not a collector, I have 100 beauties in my family, don't think it's a gift from Stussy the little maids who come out or low-level stuff, just the opposite. These little maids are all top-notch beauties, the kind of top-notch beauties who are not inferior to Nami and Robin, you may be like Hancock. Shirahoshi Kazuki Hiyori. These three beauties are incomparable, but they are definitely top-notch. After all, these are all princesses who have subjugated the country, and they are all chosen by thousands of people. To be able to be a princess, generally speaking. There is no ugly person in the royal family, after all. The improvement of the genetics has long been not ugly, so. I have 100 top beauties in my family, so I am not very interested in the beauties outside. Besides, it's another thing, Locke's wealth. To be honest, Locke is not short of money, but he is really not interested in money, it's meaningless. The money at home can be spent as you want, as long as it's where let it go, it would be strange if he looked like he had never seen the treasure. As for rights, excuse me, Locke is even less interested in rights, to put it bluntly. It seems that Locke is not very interested in these three things, so. The result is naturally needless to say, this is the fundamental core reason, in fact. Locke it's just such a character, it's always been like this, just. But everyone is interested in things, and Locke is only interested in those weird things. So, Locke is really very interested in these things, after all. Those weird and messy things, Locke has a very big interest, especially when he gets these things, he is even more interested. It is one of the very few of Locke, one of the few hobbies. It can only be said. Locke's hobbies are rather special. Okay. Locke looked at Lilith and Laccio, then waved his hands and said, you two little guys. Hurry up and do what you need to do. Are you really making fun of me here? Believe it or not, I let the Night Lord give you a hell training. Both Lilith and Laccio were silent for a moment, even though they said it. Lilith, Tito. Both sisters came to study medicine as ship doctors, but, how should I say it? It's done, after all. On this dangerous sea, there is more or less power, then. It's still very useful at critical times, even those big men won't provoke you, but. Who knows what those little devils will do sample. After all, on this sea, you will always meet some guys who don't know how much they are, such as the Prince of Arying. Although these people are not a problem, but. If you have no strength at all, really if you were attacked by someone, if you were rescued by your companions in time, then of course you will not say anything, but what if there is no problem? What if something goes wrong? Good guy. It would be a very embarrassing thing if the rubbish was harmed, or even killed directly. 30. So say it. Some things are just like this. You still need some daily training. At the very least, you still need the lowest level of self-defense strength, right? So, these two little guys are the ones who are so afraid, after all. The Night Lord Beast, the hell-style training of my own teacher is really too scary, and if you accidentally, dead, you will really have it. Fine. The two little guys ran away without hesitation, and Locke smiled lightly and shook his head when he saw this scene, really. Two little guys. And watching the growth of these children with his own eyes is actually a good thing for Locke, or in other words. For himself, it is also a change in mentality. Such a change. Very wonderful. Quietly exhaling, Locke said seriously, brother. Although we have found the prison ship, we still need to pay attention to things that should be paid attention to. Newgate wasn't an idiot either, his brows were slightly frowned, but he thought about it. Locke, do you think there's something wrong? Locke nodded and said, there is a possibility of problems, and it is very large. This is absolutely beyond doubt, the prison ship of the world government is not so easy to find, especially. After the first 2 years, is it so easy to be found when we have already destroyed 2 prison ships? This is a problem in itself. And it is definitely a very big problem, so say. Be careful, there is always nothing wrong. Undeniably said, Locke is not a person who likes to use his brain, but. Not liking to use his brain does not mean that he is an idiot. I also need to think carefully about these things, think about it. Obviously nothing happened, but somehow it turned out like this, and finally found the prison ship. This is a very wonderful thing. Some things, although you are full of joy, but. If you think about it carefully, you will gradually understand, don't you mean that things are a bit strange? That's why. Some things are like this, seemingly very simple, but actually come on. That's not the case at all, even a little bit of carelessness may bring about the fact that the other party has already set their sights on you. It's definitely not a joke, but the most important thing for real. Newgate also squinted his eyes slightly, thinking about this question, or that sentence. People who can go this far above the sea, then. Basically, there are no idiots. And Newgate thought about it carefully, nodded calmly and said, it is true, it is undeniable. The prison ship found as too weird. The other party. He didn't hide his whereabouts at all, just like F. It was discovered so simply. Locke was very calm, thinking, however, we should go or go, we just have this kind of guess, if it has nothing to do with it, then it is a loss. Is it? That's why. It's time to go and have a look, in case there is no problem. Quote. Gu la la la. Indeed, it's not a good thing to be timid. Newgate also laughed and nodded, yes. How can there be so many timid thoughts, since you want to go on this sea, then? You have to be tougher and show your posture completely. If you shrink back, it means you have no meaning at all. Not to mention, for pirates, even if they know that there may be danger ahead, then they still want to see it. Even if they know that there is a terrible danger in front of them, they still want to see it. This is the character of pirates. Pirates have always been like this. They guys are just a group of guys who like to dance on swords and pursue excitement. Although Newgate pursues his family, he still has doubts about this. Change your mind, let alone give up without seeing it. Stop it. Chapter 117. Omegamon understands the embryonic form of love, the born Bhikshuman. Locke. Newgate. Brother Edward is not an idiot either. This pair of brothers also see it very clearly, and this pair of brothers is very clear that there is something wrong with your prison ship. This is absolutely beyond doubt, after all. You can't take we brothers are all considered idiots. After one or two problems, you can say that at the beginning, the world government was not prepared, so the prison ship was discovered and killed, which is very normal. But after such a long time, my brother's search was fruitless, and suddenly, the prison ship was found, and you told me that it was found normally. Isn't this just like a joke? It's like nonsense, so I said it. This thing is purely a joke, but it's still the same sentence. If you know it, you know it. You must go and see it, otherwise, it's really embarrassing enough. Even if you don't even dare to take a look at it, it would be really embarrassing to throw it home. Locke was very calm about this, thinking about it. Brother, no matter what you say, you should be more vigilant. You should not be too careless about this matter, after all. If something really happens, it will be troublesome. Newgate also nodded at this. Although he said that he was very confident and maintained a proud attitude towards everything that might happen next, he also understood that he must be vigilant about this matter, otherwise. If you are too careless, then there will be huge problems. If there are real problems in the family, one by one, our family members have accidents, then Newgate himself will not be able to forgive himself, that's it. Next, the two brothers discussed it carefully, and nodded seriously, no matter what it is. This matter is definitely worth paying attention to, just be more vigilant, there will always be no problems. After all, no matter what it is, there is always nothing wrong with being more vigilant and paying more attention, and being more vigilant, or in other words, paying more attention, will bring very high benefits, right? Okay. Newgate stood up and said, Lousy is gone. Locke waved his hand calmly and said, Goodbye, let's go to 07. Brother, you are here, it makes me feel very bad. Hard. In the silence, the fist was hardened. Newgate really wanted to punch Locke to death, but finally gave up. Forget it. Not the opponent. Just wait, I will continue to change if you want to get stronger, and as long as you become stronger, then sooner or later, you will be able to beat your brother. How to say? During this year, Newgate also gradually discovered this problem, that he was not an opponent. That's right, he was gradually no longer an opponent of his younger brother. The discovery of this problem made Newgate also full of fear. A look of confidence, but over time, Newgate also discovered that, emotionally, the strength of his younger brother is a combination of the strength of all summoned Digimon. Good guy. Newgate is a good guy, forget it. Give up, just wait, I can become stronger sooner or later, and at that time, it will be over to see how I get revenge. Can only say, sometimes, a lot of things seem to be very simple, but it is not so simple at all, or even said, there is so easy. Newgate still needs to work hard. Prison ship. Bell was also taken aback when he heard Lakyo's words, and asked strangely, Luckyu, are you sure? Are you sure it's a prison ship? Lakyo nodded and said, Bell, it should be fine, I confirmed it with my own eyes, and the traces of the other party are very normal, basically there will be no mistakes, after all. The situation of the prison ship is different from that of other ships. Same, you see. Talking. Lakyo took out the photo and asked Bell to take a look, while Bell squinted his eyes slightly when looking at the photo in his hand, nodded after a while and said, It is indeed a prison ship, but although it is said to be a prison ship, however, it is very strange, or in other words, the appearance of the prison ship is too strange, making people feel very strange, there will be a prison ship here. Hearing Bell's words, Lakyo was also taken aback, and asked curiously, What do you mean? Is there something wrong with Bell? Quote. The group of little fellows beside Beasta, Joes, and Sack also came over curiously, and they were all very curious about what exactly Bell was thinking about. Sometimes What you have to admit is, in terms of brains, compared to Bell, they are indeed not opponents at all. This is absolutely beyond doubt. After all, they are not good at brains. Some people are good at brains. Some people are good at strength. This is a very normal thing, but Ah Bell belongs to the type of both wisdom and courage. Basically, if he is placed in any force, he can be trained as the second in command. This is Ah Bell's ability, very excellent, but also very powerful, there is absolutely no doubt about it. Ah Bell's expression was very sharp, and he said solemnly, the other party is the world government, not any small force, and since the other party is showing its own strength, this is not a strange thing. After all, the strength of the world government is very strong, but prison ships are things that need to be hidden. Back then, Dad had already smashed 2 prison ships. Normally speaking, according to the capabilities of the world government, all prison ships will naturally be destroyed. Ships are all hidden, after all. Prison ships can't see the light, and since they can't see the light, it's very normal to hide them, but according to the situation of the world government, will they really be found if they're hidden? Do not. In other words, it's not a strange thing to be found, but to be found so easily, don't you think it's very strange? All of a sudden, everyone fell into silence, obviously. Everyone is thinking about this matter. It is undeniable that, just like what Bell said, everyone is still very immature, and regarding these I don't really like to think, but it's still the same sentence, no one is an idiot. Ah Bell said it so clearly, it's like breaking it into pieces and sending it to you. If you still don't understand, that is too strange. World government, aiming at our Edward family. There was a cold gleam in Whitey's eyes, and her aura instantly became terrifying. In Whitey's eyes, this was a problem with her own home, and this was absolutely unacceptable. And Ah Bell shook his head and said, based on the current situation, the possibility of this is very high. Yes, we still need to analyze it calmly. The other party's purpose is to target us, but nothing is absolute. Yes, maybe this is a coincidence or maybe, after all, anyone will make mistakes. Only, there are some things that Bell didn't say, so, for the world government, the possibility of mistakes is too low, it's almost impossible, because that's the world government. And it's so scary, could it be that there will be a mistake in the monster? How is it possible? This is absolutely impossible. Therefore, this is what Bell needs to think about, and it is also a very important thing. He didn't say it, because Bell knows that the old man and uncle must have known about this matter. Said, must have chosen to go, if you say too absolute, then it is not a good thing. Listening to Bell's words, everyone nodded, and then, along with thinking, Squid thought about this. Bell, so say. Shall we catch up? Ah Bell shook his head and said, of course it's impossible. We are the Edward family. Even though we know that this may be dangerous, but for us, we still have to go step by step. This is the most important thing, we must not shrink back, otherwise, it would be very embarrassing. Besides, even if it is dangerous, it is only a part of the probability, and it may be real. Ah Bell said very seriously, while the corners of everyone's mouths were grinning, full of confident smiles, that's right. Just kidding, we are the Edward family. Even if we know that our opponents are full of terrifying power, but could it be that, because of the strength of the opponent, do you dare not even get close? That is absolutely impossible. This is absolutely, it is impossible. Because of this, not only are the little guys without any fear, but they are full of firm hearts. This is basically Whitebeard Pirates' every little guy's thoughts. Gu la la la. That's right. That's right. At this moment, with the heroic laughter, Newgate walked over step by step, looked at the little guys in front of him, and said with a big smile, be serious to lousy. Just kidding, who are we afraid of? Do we have anything to be afraid of? No, we don't need any fear at all, because for us, this sea belongs to us. Since the opponent has released the bait, then it would be good if the other party was completely torn apart. Oh who, daddy, that's right, ha ha ha. All the little guys are roaring deafeningly, indeed. For these little guys, they are all roaring from the bottom of their hearts, after all. This is not a strange thing at all. These little guys from the Edward family guys, all of them are arrogant little guys, and for these little guys, they are of course full of arrogance. Just kidding, how could they shrink back here? That is absolutely impossible. Gu la 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 tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. Newgate also laughed boldly, that's right. That's right. These are the little ghosts of the lousy pirates, and these are the sons of the lousy pirates. These are the sons of lousy. How could it be possible to shrink back because of some difficulties, let alone? There is no definite difficulty at all. If he shrinks back like this, then he can't afford to lose this person, and every little guy probably can't remember this person. Next, the Sphinx naturally went straight towards the direction of the prison ship, and following the action of the Moby Dick, it can be said. This has already represented. Next, everything is about to start, and the major forces they also started to get busy. They are all making their own preparations. After all, everyone has their own ideas, and this kind of thinking is a very important core. No matter how Everyone has their own ideas, but in this game, then, what will the result be? And this is the most important thing. Let everyone come. Take a look. What will happen next? Everyone is waiting quietly. They also want to see what will happen next. What will happen next? Will it be who wins and who loses? He. Just let everyone wait and see. Let everyone see what the next result will be. This is what everyone thinks, and the situation in New World, which is relatively calm for a while, with this action, I'm afraid, it will be completely transformed into an absolute situation. In the midst of the chaos, although the current New World is full of endless chaos, the major pirate groups are still barely maintaining a balance. This is a reflection of a balanced situation. Yes, now it is different. The current situation of New World has calmed down a little bit, but if there is no accident, then 690, then at the fastest time, next, it will start. The beginning was the chaos of Ultimate, after all. After all the forces involved in the chaos, there is probably no need to say anything about what happened next. New World. It will become even more chaotic, and it will also become even more terrifying, so to speak. All this will start soon. This is anyone, absolutely, cannot. Everything that has changed will always be displayed before everyone's eyes. Only, all of this, Locke doesn't care too much. For Locke, eating, drinking and having fun is the joy of his life. As for everything else, to be honest, I'm really not very interested in it. Anyway, it's not an important thing, it's not important. It's not important. It's natural. Just don't need to be eager. This moment, Omega. Wisps of red light emerge from the body of the Omega Beast, to be honest. Since the Omega Beast does not participate in the battle, it is located in its own palace all the year round. It's almost never come out. This is not a strange thing. After all, Omega Beasts, Night Lord Beasts, Heelin Beasts, they don't need any food. For them, simply absorbing the breath in the air is enough. Enough is enough, there is no need to eat anything at all. And naturally, under such circumstances, Omega Beasts have not appeared for almost a year, which is no surprise. No matter what time it is, Omega Beasts are not needed in battle. Beast, at most, the little guys are dealt with, and most of the time, it is the Night Lord Beast, and I don't need to teach a group of little guys like the Night Lord Beast. Therefore, every day, the Omega Beast is located in its own palace, quietly feeling its special power, and the Omega Beast can feel that there is a special power in its body. A special power, and this kind of special power, if I can master it myself, then my strength will be greatly improved, and even said to be extremely powerful. Very huge, very terrifying improvement. This is the most terrifying power, and this. It is also the power zone that Omega Beasts are mastering day by day. Therefore, Omegamon is working hard enough to improve all the time. It is very clear that it is absolutely impossible to become stronger through fighting alone, and the remaining road is instead. I need to go by myself, because of this. After a year of tempering and painstaking training, Omegamon seems to have gradually mastered a wonderful power, this power. It seems that it shouldn't belong to me, but should belong to other people, but this power is hidden deep in my body, but I can't control this power. This is the most surprising thing. Chapter 118. The Prison Ship, the Imminent War. Advertise here. Wisps of red light emerge from the body of the Omega Beast, and this ray of light exudes a comfortable feeling. It is more appropriate to feel that it comes from love, just. This power, Omega Beast felt strangely, but he couldn't comprehend it. Although he felt that it was the power hidden in his body, he couldn't comprehend it. This was a strange power that Omega Beast felt. Locke was playing the game, and instantly realized that he would not be able to enter. He raised his head, looked into the distance, and muttered strangely, "It's strange. It's strange. What's going on? Is this the power of a special badge? From Omegamons the location is transmitted. This is." Locke paused the game, and also walked out of the villa, while the two little maids quickly followed Locke's movements, and a group of three headed towards the palace of the Omega Beast, and the red beam of light shot up into the sky. It is the same as the original Courage and Friendship, but the difference is that these are the other two forces. Therefore, Locke finds it strange, the other two powers. What kind of power is this? Or, what kind of power is this? This is the most interesting thing. Snapped. Locke's pace was very fast, and soon he came to the palace of the Omega Beast, and as expected, a red beam of light burst out from the palace of the Omega Beast. Locke murmured, "This is the power of love. Interesting. Interesting. Is this how the 8 powers are obtained? Omega Beast Mercy form. How does this form evolve? It's very simple. After Omegamon absorbs the power of the 6 badges of light, hope, love, innocence, knowledge, and honesty, then it can transform into Omegamon Mercy form. But, say to put it simply, Locke is also a researcher, so how did he obtain the power of the other 6 badges? Now, I have gradually studied and understood that the power of these 6 badges, it seems, is not at all what you get from your own body as what you get from Omegamon. It needs to be understood by Omegamon himself. This is the real core. Thinking about this possibility, Locke has already stepped into the palace with two little maids, and at this moment, the Omega Beast sitting cross-legged in the palace is emitting red light from top to bottom, and those red rays of light shot up into the sky, after seeing Locke's arrival. Omegamon lowered its head respectfully and said, "Lord Locke." Locke nodded, and said calmly, "Omegamon, is this the power of love you possess?" "It's not." Omega shook his head and said, "Master Locke. This power is hidden deep in my body, but I can't control this power. It's very strange. It seems that the owner of this power is not me, or I am not very clear about how I want to master it." The Omega Beast is also very at a loss. It is really not clear about this situation. It doesn't understand how it wants to master it. This power is obviously in its own body, but it can't be mastered at all. "Let me see." Locke strode over. The next moment, the red light suddenly came straight to Locke, turned into a badge of love, and directly merged into Locke's body, and the next moment, as the badge melted into my body in the middle, the data among Setsuna began to churn up. Countless data are churning crazily, and everything happened too fast. In this short period of time, this vast amount of data has already begun to surge crazily, and with this surging data, everything around seems to be different. Call. Locke let out a deep breath, his original confused look recovered, and he let out a long breath. So that's how it is. So it's like this. Obviously, Locke already understood what it meant, as expected. The next moment, a large amount of data emerged from Locke's body, and it was gathered into a brand new Digimon. Compared to other Digimon, Bitumen just stood there blankly, without any movement. It doesn't have any mind of its own, it looks like a puppet. Lord Locke. Omegamon also stood up and walked over. Looking at this scene, he didn't understand what was going on, but Locke said calmly, "This power, Omegamon. It's hidden in your own body. The power in it, a very terrifying power, and this power has always been hidden in your own body, just. This power is only hidden in your body, but now it is under your perception, and this power, a hidden power emerges, but this power, you cannot comprehend by yourself, can only emerge through the way of Digimon, until the 6 Digimon are all summoned, and when they evolve into the ultimate, the moment the polar body becomes one with you, you will become the apex." Locke explained it very clearly, and even more clearly, to put it bluntly. The power of the 6 badges is hidden in the body of the Omega Beast, but this power is only in its nascent form. In such a state, it is impossible to really burst out. This kind of situation is the most important thing. The result, naturally, it goes without saying that under such a situation, when strands of power emerge, there will be gathering at ultimate. Finally, will evolve into Omega Beast, Mercy form. Of course, this evolution does not mean casual evolution, it is not so easy. The evolution of this power requires 6 ultimate Digimon, in other words. The power of 6 admirals gathers in Omi. It can only be done on the body of the beast, otherwise. It is so easy there. If it is really that easy, that would be the strangest thing. And the summoned Biku, are to say, the 6 Digimon that will be summoned in the future, they are only in Omi. Ja Beast can only be summoned after comprehending the power of the corresponding emblem, otherwise. It will definitely not be able to be summoned. Because of this, how can it be so easy? These things. It has never been an easy task, after all. Omegamon needs to comprehend the power of the 6 emblems, not only that. It also requires 6 Digimon to evolve into ultimate bodies, so to speak. This is a very difficult thing. It is not surprising. If it is so easy, then the power of the compassion form is almost invincible in the world. How can it be so easy to evolve? This is the real world. It's not the digital world. It's not the ideal place. In that world, no matter what it is, then evolution requires the power of the heart, but in this world, it's more about being down to earth and step by step. It is the most important thing. Because of this, when all these come together, it is no longer so easy. For a long time, Locke has been able to see very clearly, and even more clearly, after all. This is a very special power, so it is so easy to master, such as this Biku Beast, although it seems. It is a substantive Digimon. In fact, this Biku is essentially a collection of love power. It is not a real power at all. This is the fundamental core. Locke thought for a while and concluded, in general, take your time to study. Anyway, there is no rush, just go step by step, then the follow-up will always be very easy. Yes, Lord Locke. Omegamon bowed its head respectfully, while Locke waved his hands and said, "Okay. You can handle the rest by yourself, I should leave too." Talking. Locke just left, and only Omegamon and Bitumen were left in the palace, and Omegamon looked cold and devoid of any emotion, with empty eyes, and Bitumen was completely like a robot. Falling into deep thinking, normally speaking. This is the need to take a Biku to fight monsters for a breakthrough. Think about it a little bit, and look at it now. The possibility of this is very high. Omega Beast nodded. It understood what he should do next, realized all the power hidden in his body, and then brought him to fight monsters and upgrade together, otherwise this would be too wasteful up. And the other side. Snapped. Locke was walking on the road, rubbing his chin, muttering, looking at it now, the overall situation. It should be almost as expected. If you think about it this way, everything is basically fine. However, it is still difficult to deal with. Evolution is too difficult, it seems. It still needs time, otherwise. It's not that easy at all. Shaking his head with emotion, Locke didn't continue to say anything, but walked step by step towards the distance, no matter how you say it. Take your time to study, you can only deal with it step by step, after all, time does not need to be rushed, then. Just take your time, you can always succeed in the future, there is no need to be so entangled, otherwise, it would be completely meaningless. Locke was too lazy to think so much, turned around and left, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, there is no need to worry. Squinting his eyes comfortably, Locke lazily stretched his waist, and the rest. There is no need to worry, just deal with it slowly, no rush. No rush. Time is for me, this is the least urgent thing. Clatter, clatter. BWGB. B. The Sphinx sailed on the sea, and the speed was very fast, and it went straight to a distant direction, where? It was the discovery of the prison ship's route, and it took a full 22 days. During these 22 days, the Whitebeard pirates can always find the prison ship, but as long as it is a little closer, it means that the other party has left, but this process is always getting closer. Therefore, as long as you are not an idiot, then you have already been keenly aware that there is a problem, and there is a big problem, that's right. But as long as there is no problem with your head, you have already guessed it. Isn't this a problem? So, what happened? Everyone just needs to be keenly aware of it. This is definitely not a joke. Everyone in the Edward family is ready for war. Come on, let's try to see what the situation is like. If we don't have enough strength, this matter will not end here. After all, this war, although I don't know who my opponent is, but what is certain is that this war will definitely break out. After all, as long as you are not an idiot, then you can see the strength of your opponent, it is definitely very scary, and it is the horror right in front of you. After all, this is aimed at Whitebeard pirates, and since they chose to target the Whitebeard pirates, then if you are not an idiot, you are absolutely very clear about what this power is. The strength of the opponent. It is definitely strong enough. It is definitely not an easy task to defeat the opponent, but the more so, the more interesting it is, isn't it? Such an opponent. Defeating the opponent, beheading the opponent thoroughly, this is the most interesting thing. Opening square bracket comma quote. This moment, everyone in the Whitebeard pirates is ready, everyone is waiting quietly, they all want to see what the next result will be like. What? He. It doesn't matter. The Whitebeard pirates are not afraid of any challenge, since they want to start a war. Then come on. Good guy. Who is afraid of whom? Just see who is weaker. Lousy today. God will have to see what the final result will be. Is everything ready? Of course. He. Ha ha ha. All the little guys are full of confident smiles, even full of arrogance, but now all of them are full of absolute confidence, just kidding. There is no fear of these little guys, they are all full of hockey looks, come on. Try it out, they are members of the Edward family, we're part of the Whitebeard pirates, it's not going to stop here, it's not something that will happen to them. Don't be afraid. Gu la la la, WW. With the heroic laughter, Newgate walked step by step, and said with sharp eyes, you guys are the best, are you ready? Daddy, it's already ready. That's right. It is good. Newgate's eyes were sharp, and he said ferociously, let Lousy see, who dares to attack Lousy. If it is too weak, Lousy will know. I find it very boring. Today, Lousy wants to see who the opponent is. A terrifying killing intent emerged from Newgate's eyes, his fighting intent was extremely terrifying, just kidding. Want to start a war? Then come here. Who is afraid of whom? No. Do you think Lousy will be afraid? Will he run away? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. No joke. But the truth is, Newgate will never choose to run away, today. No matter who dares to stand in front of Lousy, then. Let's fight to decide the fate, Lousy has already. I have come here according to your conspiracy, if you can't show enough strength, Lousy will overthrow you. Locke rubbed his chin calmly, and said very casually, in general. Well, take a look, although I don't know who it is, but people who are targeting us may also. It's just a few people, just take a look and you'll know who it is. Quote. Locke is quite calm, this is not a joke, but the real fact, after all. The fact is here, no kidding, this is the real fact. Is it? As long as you are not an idiot, then you can see what the problem is, the strength of the other party, and all other problems are left there. In this sea, there are very few people who can target the Whitebeard pirates, or almost none, but who can do this and choose to target them.